Nope, I'm not giving it to you.
Shut. Don't be talking trash about my song, man. You're treading on somebody thin ice there. Oh man.
Wait,
Honestly,
let me turn on my PS. Damn.
Damn.
Honestly, what?
No, I was just getting ready to say, man, if it's just me and you talking in here today, man, I am perfectly fine with that, man, because today was a fucking crazy day, man.
Was it?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it was just a lot of shit going on, man. My fucking job, man. They what you call it, had me stay over a little bit later than what I wanted to. Fuck my
Got you sucking dick, huh?
all kinds. I was supposed to go to the gym, just to kind of chill out with my friend, man, Emmanuel. But that was at 6:00. Them niggas, they thought they were slick, man. Well, they were slick because they kept my ass over.
The question is, did you go to the gym?
I did go to the gym.
That's all that matters.
You thought I was gonna say no, huh?
No, I didn't know what you were gonna say.
I'll be honest, man. You were about to be like, this nigga about to be like, I mean,
No, I didn't know.
I was kind of busy, you know what I mean? No, so like I told you yesterday, man, I went to sleep early because I had to get up early this morning. I got up around like probably 6:00, and then I went to the gym probably like around 7, and then no, actually I think it's more like 7:30, and then
hold on for a minute. Hold on.
Right.
Let me turn on the. Even if I say it will be alright,
be alright.
That's the R&B version. Till I hear you say
you want to end your life.
But my voice is hoarse. All right, then we got people in there. Adam, what's going on? Yo, Gamecast, what's good? Oh, that's me.
Who the fuck is that abomination?
Then Gamecast, Game Tight, what's going on? And the other guy dipped. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah.
Am I echoing?
Oh, not.
Am I still
a
echoing?
little bit, yeah. Talking about me.
I don't know why I would be echoing. It's going now?
Well, it kind of sounds like you're in a echoing room or something shit like that. Like an empty room or something.
Oh. Yeah, it is.
With a bit.
Does it sound bad now?
The same, man.
Jesus Christ.
What a bit is that, yo?
Hold on for a minute. Let me see. Yo, Game Tight. I've seen some of the shit you've been saying, man. Was it you? I think it was you that was saying all that good shit. If I'm echoing, it must be the mic. I don't know how to turn it. It sounds better. And then it's Twitter acting stupid.
You were like, yeah, man. I don't know why. I was like, oh, it sounds good. Is it? Nope. It just fucked up again.
I don't hear the echo. That shit is on. Like I'm listening to it.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it's on mine. I don't know. You sound like you're echoing on my side.
Yo, Game Tight. I've seen some of the shit you've been saying, man. Yeah, it's not echoing.
All right, that's cool.
You're fucked up shit. Whatever. Get my nerves. Either way, what did what's his name? Let me peep. I keep hearing like little things beep. Oh, he's in there.
That microphone.
Was it you? Wait, Game Type. Am I echoing?
Nah, I don't hear nothing.
All right, let me unplug my thing really quick.
Because he's the nigga with most of the fucking issues.
Yo.
They want to get bougie with his internets.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really bother me, but it's good. You're good, man.
No, why the fuck you say something to me?
It sounds fucked up. That's why. But
no, you the only one that sounds fucked up with
all the way fucked up. I'm gonna stop you flat.
Yo, Game Tech, weren't you the one that was saying all this good shit about the fucking you put my mic a little bit further. All this good shit about The Last of Us? Am I getting confused with a whole bunch of other people? Did you say anything recently about The Last of Us?
Shit, man, I don't even remember. My Twitter been going crazy these last couple days.
What happened?
Like, just because some of the shit I've been saying, my Twitter they've been tripping, man. Because I had said something about Xbox not having no launch games or some shit like that, and that whole post just went crazy.
Wait, no launch games or no games for 2022?
Well, it was the launch, because I was saying, because everybody keeps shitting on Sony for not having, or only having, like, I think it was like for the first year, like I think it's like 5 games that were on PS5 only, and I'm like, how y'all gonna kill Sony for that when Xbox didn't release any? That makes no sense to me. And they still don't have it.
You know what? Me and Josh actually talked about this probably like a month or so ago. But here's the thing, man. Xbox did release some first party games, right? But the thing is that some of them, they were on PlayStation. So they had Psychonauts that came out, which is technically a first party game. And
well, yeah, I know they released games, but I'm talking about some specifically for the Series X and the Series S.
Yeah, they didn't really have.
No. They didn't release any.
The only one that I could, and I don't even count those, man, because I'm talking about Flight Sim and the other one.
Yeah, I think that's
I
like
wouldn't
the
even
only
count that one. You know, the reason why is because. Well, yeah, because it released in 2020. Before? See, here's my thing, man, about because this is where people's argument always fucking fluctuates, you know, because the game came out in 2020, right? But they're like, oh no, but it released in 2021, you know, for Xbox. I'm like, well, you guys always talk about this shit about the fucking what's it called, the Xbox ecosystem, right? You know, everything is in the ecosystem, Game Pass and PC and mobile and cloud gaming and all this stuff, right? Xbox Series X, S. Right. But then when it's like, yo, you can't count Flight Simulator because that bitch came out in 2020. It's like, well, I mean, it released in 2021 on Xbox. I'm like, no, that's not how that shit works.
And then like the other thing that people were saying, like when I said that, they was like, well, it's different because Microsoft was upfront about how they were going to have games on both, you know, on all platforms for like the first 2 years or some shit like that. And then Sony lied with the whole "we believe in generations," and I'm like, y'all motherfuckers just can't read.
Oh, it was you that said that. You said that shit, and they didn't. We've been saying that shit for fucking for the remaining time.
I was just going to ask a rhetorical question.
What Jim Ryan actually said. He never said that they weren't going to be making games for the PS4 anymore. When that whole "we believe in generations" thing, if you read what he said after that, he literally was talking about as far as the features that the PS5 is going to have compared to the old generation. He didn't say
me and Josh, like I said, we talked about this shit ad nauseum, bro.
Yeah, they keep bringing it.
Yo.
We believe in, bro. Y'all just got selective. Y'all just was selective about what y'all see.
Selective fucking hearing. And the funny thing is, Ken actually came up with this shit. We had like earlier. We found out that people just ran with it, but Sony never. What was it again, Ken? That you were saying?
You're talking about from a while back about the joke.
Yeah,
I'll tell you in a second. But I wanted to say this really quick. So about that whole thing about Microsoft being up front, right? If a fucking dude came up to you with a gun or a knife and told you he was gonna stab you, you know what I'm saying? and before he killed you, does that make him a better person? You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't.
Yeah, because they was like this dude. He brought up. He was talking about how they lied about Spider-Man being on, being only PS5. But if you look at the trailer when they first showed it, at the end it literally says PlayStation
Yeah, man.
exclusive. It doesn't say PS5 exclusive. And then the dude brought about talking about how he was like, "Well, they lied because it says it's captured on PS5." You dummy! Why would they show it on PS4?
You
That
gotta
makes
show. You
no
gotta show
sense.
things. You gotta show
Of
things
course,
in
they're
the
going to
best
show it
light.
on the newer console.
But the thing is, Ken said something. It was,
Yeah,
I think it was in the summer
what it is.
when there was a whole slate of they want to bring a whole slate of
Yeah, I got
games.
you,
What
man.
was it again?
Yeah,
What,
so
for
here's the
PC or
thing,
whatever?
man. Because we actually had this was before that we started doing the spaces, but we had a podcast on our YouTube channel.
This is
Yeah,
before Spaces. And by the way, it's what's the
PlayStation
YouTube
Culture.
again?
Yeah,
PlayStation Culture.
Yeah, so when that whole slate of games going to PC narrative came out, everybody ran with that shit. They had it in the fucking headlines. All the journalists were reporting on it, right? And it just so happened that I was looking at the time because everybody was talking about the whole PC shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was in their fields about that shit. So I started to do some research on it, and I was going through everything that they had said, every fucking thing that they said about the PC. Every article, every interview that they had mentioned PC, I read it, right? And then what happened was I noticed that the article that they had referenced for that statement, that they were going to bring a whole slate of games, Sony never said that shit. Never. Those words and
Interesting.
they never
I
said
didn't know
it.
that.
I'm telling you. Go back and read the article that go on Google whenever you have time and type in whole slate of games, right? And you'll get all the articles that come up for it. In each article, it'll give you a site, like where they cited it from, and read exactly what they cited. Sony never said it. What happened was when they had that interview, I believe it was with Jim Ryan. The article that interviewed him, like the people that interviewed him, used the statement.
Yeah, I've been noticing that. Like, people have been putting a lot of words in that man's mouth, saying shit that he supposedly said, but he really
and then the
didn't
crazy
say.
part is that everybody and their mother fucking took that shit. They were like, "Oh, Sony said, they're putting a whole slate of games," and people were making YouTube videos about it. Yo, Sony said, and I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, "Yo, man, they never actually said that shit." I'm telling you, go look at it. It's not there. They never said it.
Hey, here's the thing too that I've been noticing now. I don't know if I'm tripping, but lately, it seems like every day these motherfuckers are trying to find something about Sony to shit on. Like today, everybody's making a story out of this whole
the PS4 thing.
PS4s.
Yeah, I saw it earlier.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, who the fuck care? 1 million PS4s, dude, that's literally nothing. Worldwide, that's nothing.
Man. They really are trying to.
This is
people are really making a story
before we go on to the
huge deal.
Before we go on to the topics, look, a couple of things that I wanted to kind of talk about is you're absolutely right, Game Tight. Like, I don't know what it is because, like, for instance, I just saw Paris say some crazy shit.
About the PC games?
Bro.
He was talking about how they just need to let Sony just need to let all their games
I saw that shit.
Why?
Yep. Somebody brought up Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. It was I think it was Persona.
I
don't never hear nobody say nothing about Nintendo bringing their games to PC. It's always PlayStation.
Kim, what did who said something on YouTube? I didn't see it.
Nelson. Yeah, Nelson said. Yeah, he said, "Why ain't you showing up on Twitter?" That's what it says on my end.
Oh, I don't. Twitter be picking and choosing. I don't know. But at least I'm glad we have it in both places. I didn't see Nelson in here. It just shows me the chat. And I just periodically listen to it so I won't be squealing like I be before. Let me see. Nope, it's good. Anyway, no one says anything about Nintendo. Nintendo can come out with a fucking 20-year-old game that they up-resed a pixel, you know what I'm saying? And charge like $60 for it, and everybody claps like seals when it comes like that shit. So, now they're saying that all the games, it's like these weird fucking takes and narratives that they just kind of just throw out there to be like the first to say something and start a trend. It's like everyone's trying to start a trend. And I think it's because of how successful Sony is, like blatantly successful. Like Nintendo, that Switch is successful, but it's not blatantly successful. You know what I'm saying? It's like low key because Nintendo has their fans and their fans are typically low key. They don't cover the gamut. Like Nintendo stuff sells the most and by far. You know what I'm saying? On their console on the Switch. And then the third party gets scraps. With PlayStation, it's inverted almost. They're getting better at making first party and third party kind of like equal. But because of the mass appeal, it's every fucking where. It crashed Twitter a couple times when they showed the fucking logo of PS5 or the controller. I think it was a controller that
it was one of them, yeah.
Twitter. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Here's another thing too that I've been noticing. Like all these like journalists, bro, it's a lot of dick riding when it comes to Xbox. I'm gonna say
you ain't saying
like,
that new, bro.
Cause like that dude, that dude, I don't know y'all.
Oh
know that
yeah,
dude.
yep.
So I don't know if y'all heard about that whole Xbox has shipped 12 million consoles.
Oh, that's
right?
a whole
new one,
bro. We were talking about that shit too, bro.
Bro, yeah. Well, it clearly says shipped, not sold. Shipped, and everybody's running with this thing about how Xbox is selling just as much as PlayStation, and then
it's either sold. We're going to get, and we're going to
October and September on the PS5. I'm like, dude,
and we're going to get there,
shipped.
and we're going to get there for the second topic because that's what I wanted to kind of bring up. The Xbox Series S is easier to make.
Yeah,
they got, and then
it's easier to buy too. It's everywhere.
It's easier to buy. As now you're starting to see a lot of Series consoles out in the wild, and especially since they stopped making that one consoles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
because I actually went and bought one. I was in Best Buy one day. I was just in there. I was looking for a case, and I was like, they had like hella Series S's in there, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just go ahead and buy one.
That's probably what happened with a lot of people, though. To be honest.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I'll just go ahead because if there's certain games that I want to play that they got, I can at least try them out.
And it doesn't mean that anything. This doesn't mean successful.
Play these games. I'm like,
well, it doesn't. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you played it or not. That's the thing. You're not a journalist that's going. You're not a journalist that's going out there that gets paid to try to be equal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Across the board. If you want to sit there and say that what I saw the previews that they mentioned to me, because that's always a narrative on social media. If you want to sit there and say, listen, I'm not with it. What they showed me, like somebody tried to come at me with that shit. Did you play it? Did you play it? It's up to them to sell it to me. And what I see, I don't want in any capacity.
And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't touched that motherfucker. That motherfucker sits there, don't get turned on.
That shit is for educational purposes.
I played Halo for like a couple days, and after that shit get old. Okay,
not because the core of Halo is just a standard shooter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't break the mold in any particular way, and everything that it does is average.
I find it funny that
bro,
a lot of player base dropped off
Titanfall 2 is better than that shit, bro.
Titanfall, for the stuff that Titanfall allows you to do, and for people to be clapping like sills for what this is doing now, it just raises an eyebrow. I'm just
hell yeah.
You look at it like that. But we're going to talk about these consoles because I'm gonna get into it. There is a reason why I made the second topic. Ken's topic is the first one. You want to take that away?
Yeah, I was going to say really quick, man. You know what's interesting about Titanfall, man, is that when that game came out, there were other games that followed suit with some of the mechanics that they had in that game. Even with fucking Call of Duty, bro. Call of Duty started doing some of the same shit that they were doing in Titanfall. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Even to the point where...
See, I wasn't a big fan of the first one, but that second one, man, that shit... I played the fuck out that game.
Yeah, bro. But...
that game was fire. But
as far as it's the first topic, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was an article that came out about a rumor, Sony trying to lock down the IP for Final Fantasy. Specifically, I thought this was interesting, man. They specifically went for, or according to the rumor, went for specifically the Final Fantasy franchise. And I know you guys probably already know this, but Final Fantasy is by far probably one of Square Enix's biggest, if not their biggest IP. You know what I'm saying?
It's easy their biggest one.
Yeah.
At least to me, it is.
I can't think of any other one that's bigger, to be honest with you, man. I mean, even if you look at Final
Maybe
Fantasy,
Dragon Quest is closer than the other ones, but that's easily the biggest one to me.
I mean, like mainstream though, like Final Fantasy is definitely more mainstream.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's true. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I think Dragon Quest has been around a little bit longer than Final Fantasy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure about that one. I got to double check it. But Final Fantasy is definitely like mainstream, their most popular IP. And I thought it was interesting that in the rumor that they were specifically trying to lock down that IP. Now, in my opinion, I do believe that a lot of the stuff that they've been doing kind of lends credence to that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's still a rumor. But, I mean, if you look at it, fucking Final Fantasy VII was supposed to come out on, well, people assumed it was supposed to come out on Xbox, right? It still hasn't. It still has not at all. Came out on PC, but it's not on Xbox. You know what I'm saying? But it started to make me think. I'm like, it almost seems like to me, like Sony is trying to buy, prestigious IPs. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not really going for just, just anything. You know what I mean? So if it's and it's not even just with Square Enix. It's like the shit with Marvel. You know what I'm saying? So like if you look at Marvel, obviously they have Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a fucking huge IP. You know what I'm saying? Wolverine, or even just the Marvel shit in general. You know what I'm saying? Those whole IP, man, fucking insane how big they are. You know what I mean?
But they didn't buy them though.
They didn't buy them.
How they come at you with this shit. They didn't buy them. I think
here's the thing though. They do
like,
own that Spider-Man IP though.
Well, they own the movie
only
rights.
for the movies.
They only own the movie
rights. No, listen to what I'm saying. They don't own the character. Marvel owns the character. But for that game, that Spider-Man game, that specific game, Sony owns the IP because they publish the game and they make the game.
You mean that universe?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They it's like it's the same reason why Sony can't go out.
But isn't that semantics though? Like what I mean is
basically all I'm saying is nobody else can just go out and make that.
That variant of it, but they can make. Yeah. Let's say that somebody come along came Poly and make that shit better. What then?
No, they could, but here's the thing: Marvel can let anybody make the Spider-Man game they want to, but they can't make that specific one.
I know, but what if somebody makes a Spider-Man, right? That's better than what Insomniac.
They probably. They could. I mean, they could. They could try.
Very well can happen.
But that's what I mean. Like, I don't think that in particular has a ton of credence to it. It just means that they can't make that universe.
I mean, to me, it does because it's. I mean, you could say
nobody. I will say this: nobody has made a better Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
people had a ton of fucking years to make a good Spider-Man. They failed.
Exactly.
Somehow. And Spider-Man is the easier superhero to make. Like, I would never want to do Superman because he's like a fucking nuclear bomb incarnate.
And when he was talking about Square Enix, I heard that Sony has like 2 or 3 more games that are exclusive to PS5 from them too that they haven't announced yet.
I saw that.
But I guess my point is because I have to push back on what you're saying. What IPs have they been buying lately? IPs.
Who? Sony?
Yeah.
I think
they haven't bought any.
No.
If you want to count like the games that the studios got their IPs. But
I'm talking about explicitly buying IPs.
Oh no, they ain't really bought none.
But this is your subject, Ken. Where? When they do this?
Well, I mean, I don't think that they're necessarily buying them. What I think is happening is, obviously, I mean, to some extent, obviously, there's money being tossed around for it. You know what I mean? And I think
you got any receipts? CVS ribbons?
Well, no. I mean, but come on, man. There's money getting tossed around for this shit, man. Come on.
No, I don't.
No. Well, I mean, Marvel did according, if I remember correctly, Marvel did approach Sony with the Spider-Man IP. You know what I mean?
Actually, it was Insomniac that did that.
Did they approach Sony with the IP?
No, they approached. Think about it. They approached Marvel
the
to
other
make a
way
Spider
around.
game. Marvel approached them to make a Sony Marvel game. They let them pick,
Ah,
and
I
then
remember
it
now.
just happened. It just
Okay.
happened that Sony had ended up, later on they ended up
Choosing
because
Spider-Man.
Sony had wanted them to make them a game exclusive, and that just happened to be the game that they picked.
Yeah, I remember now.
And then
Yeah,
later
you're right.
on, they ended up
By the
buying
way, on
Insomniac.
the side note, right? This is a little off topic, but I'll put it back on topic. I was thinking about this shit. You know how everybody gets mad because I know Game Tight. You're going to see the Uncharted movie, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Because what I've seen, it looked good, and this is coming from
It
somebody
looks
that
decent.
really
Yeah,
has a lot of
look
vitriol
terrible.
for Naughty Dog in its current state. I don't like them, but I will say this: it looks. Now, I was thinking to myself, this nigga looked like Peter Parker.
I'm dead. Come on, man.
But no, does he not look? That nigga is Peter Parker. He didn't even try to.
Of course, you think that because he's been
No, but
playing
they didn't even try to like make a like he could have put a little curl in front. You know what I mean?
Man, he looks fine.
He looks like Peter Parker with regular clothes on. That's what it looks like.
He does.
Now here's the thing though. Here's the thing though. That's not a dig, and that's deliberate. I guarantee you, in the board meetings, they want to have Tom Holland. You know, they want to make people think that that's a Spider-Man movie, low key. I think that's what they kind of want people that they just associate and just go there because they see Tom Holland.
You know what, man? I think that they're trying to. I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't know if they've announced if it's going to be canon to the story at all. But
no, it's not.
Okay, yeah, because
this is a new origin story.
Yeah,
that it favors it pays homage to the games.
It's supposed to be like the younger version of him or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to bring up because like if you notice in the trailer, right? And I know that they've mentioned this before that it's supposed to be a younger Drake, which when you look at Tom Holland, obviously it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? He looks young. He doesn't really look like an older Drake, obviously. But what I did notice is that they added a lot of scenes in the trailer that happened obviously late.
Yeah, well, it's not tied to the game. It's playing homage to what you liked in the game, seeing the playing sequences. So they made a whole new story, but used the set pieces for that story. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is like Tom Holland, I mean, how old is he? He's like 25.
He's almost 30.
Yeah, he's
that
not
nigga
that
still
young.
No, this is why people were mad. You know what I think people were mad for? Honestly, you want to know why I think people were mad? Is when they made Uncharted 4. I remember distinct. Huh? He's 25. I remember distinctly, right, that they made technology for the Drake model, right, that have chest hairs blow in the wind. Do you remember that?
Which one? Which game was this?
The fourth one.
Yeah, I do.
You remember that? They zoomed in. It was like, look at the graphics. This nigga Tom still didn't like crack puberty. He don't got no chest hairs still. Nigga, you pushing 30, yo. You don't even look old. Like, not, and I don't mean that in a good way either. Like, you look pubescent. Like, nigga, your balls didn't drop. Like, you don't got no hair nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? No mustache, nothing. But I think, honestly, they chose Tom Holland because he's heavily associated with the Spider-Man movies. And I think by extension, they want people to just see that shit and just subconsciously just roll with it.
Yo, you know that movie called The Late Bloomer? Have you guys seen that movie?
Benjamin, I didn't see it. Benjamin Button, bitch.
Nah,
every movie he look even younger. I'm like, damn, he's 16.
Dude, there was this movie that came out in 2016 called The Late Bloomer, and this dude was a grown man. He was like almost in his 30s, but he had some kind of condition where he'd never had puberty, so he didn't have any like influx of testosterone in his body, so he didn't have like any like crazy chest hairs or nothing like that. He couldn't get hard. You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot of shit.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That's kind of what Tom Holland reminds me of, yo.
Nah, nigga, I had those particular issues when I was like 8. I mean, that movie is not accurate to any science that I've heard of. Anyway, so going back to, I just wanted to take a side step. And I've seen what you were saying, and I hear this shit all the time about Sony and why did they pick that? And this movie's going to be trash. Even from Ken. He was like,
I
I'm
mean,
not feeling it.
I mean, look, man. I'm on.
It's
The
almost
fence.
as if you have a crush on a model of Drake from the video game. It's like he doesn't look as sexy.
You know what?
I'm
There
just
was
fucking
a
with you. I'm
there,
fucking
there
with
was
you.
a there was a dude that I looked up that I thought would kind of fit his character a little bit
It's a
more.
lot
But
of dudes.
yeah, I mean,
But
even fucking Nathan Fillion, man, when they did that little short for Uncharted, you know, even him, I feel like he would have been a great.
I think that
If they was gonna use him, they should have used him years ago. He
Yeah.
old now.
well, they did. This movie was in production for a while, but I think in the board meeting they definitely wanted the use the likeness of Tom Holland to just be associated, just so that add that extra umph. I almost wanted to talk. Now we're on the subject of IPs and shit like that. Me and Ken, I don't want to like hijack your subject, but I do want to say this. Me and Ken were talking to, huh?
Nah, so say what you got to say, man.
We were talking about IPs and how everybody is like focused on nostalgia and just reusing IPs over and over and over and over and over
I would
again.
rather have new ones. That's why I'm glad.
That's what we were saying, but the problem is people are suckers for nostalgia.
People keep thinking that Sony doesn't like Ben Studio, but I'm like, dude, they let them get an entirely new IP. They're making.
I mean, it also doesn't help that the producers are feeling salty. I'm going to be honest.
Well, he had a lot of shit that was going on in the damn like behind the scenes with like certain developers and shit.
Are you talking about Jeff Ross?
Yeah,
it was just
he admitted it.
Yeah, Jeff Ross and the other dude, I forgot what the other name. He said he was belligerent, really belligerent to the talking heads.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
They were working on that game for like 7 years,
and that's why they were like upset
and
because
still
they're
came
sinking.
out like shit.
Well, I don't want to say it didn't come out like
no,
shit.
it did. And look, I'm a fan of Days Gone. I like the game. Don't get it twisted. But when it came out on launch, it was bad. Like as far as
I played it too. I can't help it because your PS4 was dusty.
Nah, man, and I had a PS4 Pro too.
I did too. Mine wasn't struggling.
Now it wasn't terrible, but you got to think.
That's all I was looking for.
It wasn't terrible, but there were points where like I'd be running from like the freaks or whatever, or the freakers, and they would like literally freeze.
Yo,
like,
guys,
it kept freezing back to back.
You
know what I just?
He's talking, dude.
My bad. I just wanted to bring something up. No, I'm gonna let you say what you. I just wanted to say something really quick. So I'm actually looking at Game Tight's picture and Josh's picture. Yo, like you kind of low key look like Kratos, yo.
Ooh.
Yo, I mean, look at the pictures because you guys are like right next to each other. Like you looks like fucking Kratos. Yo, tell me, Josh doesn't look like fucking Kratos.
Oh, man. Shut the fuck up, yo! You so fucking corny.
All you gotta do is go bald, man.
Source my power. I owe you nothing. Anyway,
and just start calling everybody boy.
I was saying that too. I made some fuckboy shit. I was in the chat, boy. Shout out to Magnificent Black, right? I was like, yo, they're gonna make God of War 2 social justice, yo.
Oh yeah,
we were acting real foolish. I was acting foolish.
Hey, y'all think that game coming out this year?
I think so.
I think it is
so too.
I think so. I don't think that is.
I think it'll be sooner than people think too.
Yeah, I think the only reason why if it gets delayed has nothing to do with like the state of the game. I think it's just scheduling. But I was saying some shit like what was I saying? I was like, I just want you to know, boy. All women are queens. You must suck their toes. Do what they say, boy. Then I was like, I took it further. I understand you are a shapeshifter, boy. It doesn't matter who you like. I'll still accept you for who you are, boy. They was like, shut the fuck up, Josh. That's not gonna happen. I was like, I'm getting that shit physically. So if I play honestly, that shit start going left, I'm taking that game back. Fuck this shit and stop running.
I mean, honestly, bro, all we need to do is shave you bald, give you a beard and an axe, bro, and you'll look like Kratos. My G.
I got the goatee, yo. I can't, yo. Honestly, on some low key shit, yo, I can't grow a full beard. I tried it too. It's just not in my genetics. Just I can't do it.
Just glue that shit on, man.
I was thinking about going to one of them salons, yo, since women can paint their face, paint a brand new face. I was like, you know what? I'll just put a beard on my face, like one of them Philly beards and shit. Like I come from Northeast Philly and shit, and then put like a blunt in my mouth, the corner of my lips.
but I'm my bad, man. I just wanted to bring that up, man. What was it that you were saying earlier, Game
No, we were just talking about like, well, I was talking about IPs that people are so, the companies are so afraid to bring up IPs. You know what I'm saying? Or make new IPs. It's like they capitalize on nostalgia. Since we were talking about, you know, the new IPs, like Sony buying IPs. It's like, I think Sony is like one of the few, probably the only ones that are making new IPs.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking to myself, and me and Ken had this conversation, and I was like, well, you know, I'm sorry. So much shit is going through my head, yo. What the fuck is wrong with people, yo? I was just joking with the whole Kratos thing, yo, but people are fucking sensitive. Damn, you brittle bitch. People calling there be like, oh shit, you talk about SJW. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry, you brittle as shit if you couldn't take a fucking joke, yo. As whoever it is, whoever it may be, you was a brittle bitch.
Hey man, you never know why they left, man.
I don't give a fuck.
I will say though, and I know, you know, like I said, I would prefer new IPs, but look, I gotta get a fucking new Resistance game on PS5.
No, see, you can keep that. I ain't getting mad at you. Yeah, I ain't getting mad at you. You can keep that, but here's the thing. I think I want a new Killzone. I need it.
Oh, that too. I agree.
I need it. Ken didn't be there. He was like, it just
bro, and you know what's funny? That Jeff Ross dude, he actually said he wanted to make a new Resistance game.
I think they would have knocked it out the park.
And Sony said they didn't want him doing it. Because I'm like, and I'm glad they didn't, because I'm like, I don't want nobody touching that game unless it's Insomniac.
Well, here's the thing. Insomniac is much better than what they were before. Much better.
Yeah, exactly. And the other ones
in terms of that was the biggest problem is direction. With that IP, direction was the biggest issue. You know, I mean, I've never felt so tired playing the game other than like fucking Resistance 1. I remember I got that shit launched on PS3, yo. And they had that dry ass British bitch.
The first one was cool, but the second and third one are easily my favorite. So.
No, the first one was just like generic. It was like like 40. It was definitely like a launch. It was definitely like the Shadowfall of PS3 for sure. It wasn't anything wrong with mechanically, but it was just dry. It didn't look that great to me, unlike Killzone. But like it was just like the gameplay was just. It was a novelty.
You know what's funny? Both of those games, when it comes to the first one, neither of the first ones were good. Like the first Killzone was not that good.
No, well, it wasn't on the Sony either. It wasn't on the Sony. Sony elevated the fuck out of Guerrilla Games, yo. They kept giving them motherfuckers
that second Killzone, man, was.
I was so glad that Herman Hulse became like the manager of like the studios, because if anybody knows if anybody knows how to put a thing on a map and be consistent, is that nigga.
You know what, man? I actually went back recently to play Resistance, the first Resistance game.
It's dry,
well, yeah, and the controls are weird too. Like I never realized that the controls were the way that they were. Like in terms,
the first one was not. It was odd.
But I'll tell you this: the art style wasn't that great either. And for the second one, the art style wasn't that great. But when they made the third one,
was my favorite.
The third one is when they started getting a grasp of art and they started killing that shit. They were murdering the fucking art, man. I was like, that's the shit. But I never picked it up because what they were saying about Resistance 3. First of all, they weren't a studio or PlayStation. And it seemed like the publisher didn't want to really give them any kind of play anyway. Like, even though Sony published it, it was just like, it was an afterthought when they did it. So it looked like they went back to the basics. But I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest one to me was, oh my God, the second one was so like, they upped the ante on that one. I said, you go Insomniac with that one. Resistance 2, yeah. I remember they had the big, but it was so similar. It was so similar. First of all, Killzone outshone it graphically. It just looked way better. and have a bigger spectacle and stuff like that. But what they had in there functionally, it did more. They had a lot of I think it was 60 players for multiplayer, and it was 8-player co-op. Like Sony was on their they were on their multiplayer shit. It's funny because they were throwing a whole bunch of shit and seeing what stuck, and they realized that people just weren't buying their multiplayer games. They were great. Like, you know what game I want them to come back
and just play Warhawk. That shit was fire.
Yo, you took the fucking words out of my mouth, but specifically, that game was fire, bro. But specifically, the problem with Starhawk was performance and a little bit of balancing. And maybe if they made that shit look like Armored Core, especially the Elite was shit, too. If they made it look like the mechs that transform, I remember just flying as fast as I can, almost ramming into the fucking ground and transforming into the fucking mech, shooting everything out, then it just leaves. Oh man, I remember killing people by fucking drop shit. Or dropping the structure on them. That shit was so fucking fire, yo. I need another Starhawk, yo.
Well, man, yeah, man. To me, man, Sony, even if it's just one of them, we gotta get at least another Killzone or a Resistance.
No, I would be honestly, I get it, but I would be
the way that those fucking controls, man.
No, we don't need every game to control like a fucking Call of Duty or a Halo.
That motherfucker needs to be fixed.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, look.
They've improved so much though, so I'm like, man, they could knock that out the park for real.
Well, I mean, I was replying to Josh on Killzone, man. I know that the third game felt a lot better than the second one.
Yeah,
but I don't think
it feels better. But go on, I'm sorry, I'm getting hyped.
It does, man. I went back and played it. I went back and played that shit recently.
To me, that's the best one. To me, is the third.
It doesn't. Nope.
The controls were much tighter than
the game was never meant to be a tight control. That was never meant for that.
Yeah, they need to fix that fucking shit.
No, they deliberately did what they did. It was supposed to be
and that's why the game didn't do that well, man. They need to fix it.
No, the game didn't do that well because of fucking Call of Duty whores that kept comparing that shit. And people kept comparing it to Halo. There was a lot of reasons why
they was calling it the Halo killer. That's what they was trying to call it.
Yo, no, but Sony didn't call them that. It was fucking the GameStop or GameSpot. Yeah, it was them that fucking did that shit, and they were not in collusion. Yeah, I don't think that they needed. I don't think that they needed it fixed. Because to be honest with you, I don't like Halo's controls. That's extremely floaty for somebody that weighs a ton. Literally. Yeah, why are you floating like that?
You're definitely in the minority for that one for sure.
Because Halo's controls, no, they won, but I'm saying the way that coming from a new person, a person that just made, that just started like shooters, and I played old shooters too. It was supposed to be very grounded. You weren't supposed to be hopping around. It was supposed to be very strategic. Just because you didn't understand what was going on or what they were trying to do, that was up to the developers to kind of make that apparent.
Because the game wasn't bad. Don't mistake.
I know that. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying because I heard it all before.
It is what it is.
I heard it all before. No, they didn't suck. It's just that you didn't like them. You can say that you didn't like them, but you can't say it sucked.
Hey,
here's the thing. Hold on. Wait. Just because you talking over me, don't change the fact that you didn't like it and I did. There's games that just don't control well across the board. Like everybody thinks it. There are some people that played the game that liked it, and there are some people that played the game that hated it. That's not bad controls. That's just people's preference.
Hey, that's the same thing with Halo, man. Chalk it up as my opinion. The controls.
I never said it was bad. I'm not saying that it's horrible. I'm not saying that the Halo controls were functionally bad.
You didn't like them.
I said that I didn't like them, but I'm not saying that they suck. That's not what I said.
It is what it is. They suck to me.
No, but you can say that I didn't prefer them. Saying you just like everybody else that speaks in hyper. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Hyperbole.
Hyperbolic.
Yeah, hyperbolic.
Terms. That shit's like you. Like that's mad. That's mad petty and like mad. Like I don't like that shit. You can not like it and be cool with it.
Well, hey, I got a question. Does anybody like the gameplay or the controls of like Doom or like Wolfenstein?
I do.
Because I think to me, they got the best. That's the best gunplay, like first person gunplay. that shit, especially
the type of shooter that it is, like Doom, that's an arena shooter.
Yeah,
so
I know
like,
it's an arena shooter, but so is Halo.
I know you know it, but I'm like the reason why I'm saying it, how I'm saying it is only due to the fact that some people may not know about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, I know you know your shit, but an arena shooter and a tactical shooter, and
yeah, true.
you know what I'm saying? They all have their different sticks. You know, Killzone was it was a product of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I feel like, and I remember my friend's father, he was in his late 40s and 50s. I showed him the game Black on a PS2.
I remember that game. Yeah.
And he couldn't let go of Killzone out of all games on the PS2. He just kept playing it. And I'm like, here's Black. Oh, it was kind of cool. He went back to Killzone. It was like I can say that functionally something was definitely, there were huge issues with the controls for Killzone 1. It was a lot. It wasn't a finished game. I will definitely say that. But the way that they wanted you to play in Killzone was to not hop around, but playing your shots.
Yeah,
your mobility.
People was comparing it to Call of Duty.
Call of Duty was not made like you see something, you shoot it. It didn't have any aim assist really. It very little aim assist. Where in Call of Duty, when you aim down sights, it automatically latched onto the nearest enemy, and people exploited it. So when it latches onto a nearest enemy, you can either choose up or down. So you either shoot the body, or you can either, if you were kind of precise with it, you can shoot the head. It was very sticky. And the same thing with Halo. Halo made you stick to the fucking characters too. So when a game didn't have that shit, then everybody's complaining about because you weren't as good as you thought you were. You know what I'm saying? Because of how the game, how they help you in Killzone, they didn't. So people were like, well, this shit's shitty on top of it being very heavy. You couldn't jump. You just couldn't even clear 12 inches off the ground when it hopped. But it was designed to do that. It was supposed to be very heavy. When you land it, he dropped the whole gun. The reason why they changed it for Killzone 2 or 3 from 2 to 3 was because people complained about it and they tried to capitalize on a Call of Duty and won nobody by doing that shit. The reason why they didn't change,
bro, I guarantee you, if they try to bring that shit back the way it is, it's not going to do well. You know what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, you know, the standard for how shooter games are nowadays, like when you play things like Call of Duty and Halo and stuff like that, I mean, they might be able to carve out a little, you know, like niche of people who will play it, but it's probably not going to do well.
I think the way that Killzone should be reimagined, honestly, is to make that
be a reboot.
It has to be a reboot, and it has to be whoever made the storyline for fucking Horizon, do that again.
Because I thought the lore in Killzone was fire too.
It was fire. Do you know? Like, I'm gonna ask you this.
Fire, man.
I'm gonna ask this young in this, right? Ken, do you know what the lore is for Killzone?
I don't know that much.
Yeah. You just hopping in shit. Okay, so the lore about Killzone is that they fucked up Earth. They had their little war in World War III. It's the typical shit. World War III, kind of damaged the Earth beyond repair at that point in time.
Well, let me say this, man, because I'm not
here we go.
I'm not a big person.
I can't finish shit.
I'm not a big first-person shooter fan, man. I'm just not. You know,
hey, I'm not either.
That's fine. That's fine. But when you just folks, I am.
Hey, I'm
not a big first-person shooter. I'm an adventure gamer. But what they did in Killzone, I liked.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Was fire to me.
But I will say this: World War III fucked up Earth beyond repair. So when everybody got together, they said, "Fine, let's get together. Let's not fuck up Earth. We can't repair it. We really need to find somewhere else." And they split into 12 different factions and went out of the fucking solar system, and found other things. It was a group. It was his last name was Helgas, basically. So the reason why they took the name Helgan and Helgas is because of that one person. That was just his last name. They found the first planet. The first planet was very much like Earth, called Vecta. And in that same solar system, it was also, they named it Vecta. In the same solar system, they also had Helgas or Helgan. They colonized on Vecta and used Helgan because it had a whole bunch of resources, but really you couldn't live there. And some of the people from Earth, because they still have Earth in the lore of Killzone, They didn't like the fact that they were the first person there and they could control all the resources. So they did a sneak attack and just wiped them the fuck out. The people that were under the Helgan faction, all they worried about was re-terraforming and technology to make a better Earth. And they fucked them up because they were jealous, basically. You found it first. I don't like how you were doing it. And then they decided after they colonized the area, they told them, no, you could stay here. And that didn't sit right with the Helgan. So Helgan kind of like low-key did some guerrilla tactics and started to blow up certain places, right? They got so annoyed, the new Vectans from Earth, that, you know, they just took over the shit, that they said, you got to get off this planet altogether. You doing all this shit, you got to go over there. So they held a grudge. They went on to Helgan and decided to use like the breathing apparatuses and stuff like that. And it mutated them, basically. So the people from Helgan, they almost died a couple of times. They ended up losing their hair and ended up being a lot bigger than the average human. And Killzone 2, when you shoot a Helghast or a Helgan person, their blood is orange, at least when it oxidizes with the atmosphere. There's a lot of shit that goes on. This is a very rudimentary way of doing it. And it kind of mirrors like Warriors and stuff like that. But it's one of those things. I would love to see them revisit it. And before they stopped making kill zones, they actually had other planets that were colonized. So, you know, and they described what the planets will look like. You know what I mean? A planet that was basically a water planet with many different islands dotted around it and shit like that. It just would have been nice to see, and it would have been nice to go back to Earth to see what it looks like after they found ways of making it better. But what I was going to say is that the way that they should reboot Killzone is to make it a third-person shooter.
I mean,
because the way that Killzone plays, and this is why this is what the issue was with a lot of people, including Ken. It plays like a third-person shooter, but you're stuck in the first person. It's claustrophobic. You can't do a lot of things. I mean, Uncharted and Naughty Dog changed the game a bit where you could hang and swing on shit. But that's not how typical third-person shooters works, especially like SOCOM. That's what people are saying, that it would probably be Guerrilla Games that would do a SOCOM justice. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what they're gonna say though? They're gonna be like, well, Sony can't do nothing but third person.
Yeah, I was just getting ready.
That's exactly what they're gonna do.
So it would mean what they would need to do is they need to market and I think especially the reason why Sony's game, none of Sony games sold until like fucking PS2, really at the end of PS3. None of them sold. The only one
like crazy numbers. No, they didn't.
The only one that sold well was fucking Gran Turismo. Everything else did $1 million or $2 million, and Sony put a lot of fucking work into those things. I mean, Jack and Dexter did $3 or $4 million, but it dropped. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it was packaged in. There was a lot of games that they made, and then when people started seeing Sony, because Sony didn't even take them motherfuckers seriously. It was when PS3 happened, when people started taking them seriously with the help of Naughty Dog. You know what I'm saying?
I tell people all the time, man, the PS3 really was the building block for like some of these IPs and Sony getting
studios.
Yeah, exactly. That's for sure.
PS3 was a great console to me personally, man.
It was a dope console. And the funny thing is,
have all kind of movies and shit on mine.
Yo, you know what I like the most? I'm sorry. You know, and music too. I still have music. I used to download everything. I used to pirate music on a PS3.
Yeah, there was an app that you could go to on the browser.
They said, no, you can't do that. That browser was like, no. There was places where you could use the browser to watch illegal movies. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I still have my PS3. I went back. And I was just looking at the shit that I had. I had a lot of PlayStation Home shit, right? And then I just looked at the folders of the music, and I went to the video format. Bro, I was a horny bastard, yo. Oh, dude, facts. I have 27 full-length pornos on this bitch.
No.
Remember though, back when the PS3 was released, how old was I? Like 24. You know what I'm saying? And I used to use the PSP a lot because they had the same interface.
Me, I used to do that too with the PSP.
Oh man, they use a transfer.
I was like, straight to the memory card too.
Bro, I was like, especially like I would go to my family's house and shit like that. And I ain't with nobody. I didn't have a smartphone. Smartphones weren't the way that they were. And I used to be like, oh man, I've been working all day. Let me go ahead and take a shower real quick. No, I wasn't taking a shower. Anyway, so what were you going to say about the IPs?
I mean, I was gonna bring up because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they actually just came out with more information. And speaking of IPs, fucking Fire Sprite is taking over the IP for what you call it, Twisted Metal.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah,
and they working, man. They working on like 3-4 games.
Yeah, man. The fucking Call to the Mountain. Now Twisted Metal. And aren't they supposed to be working on some kind of other like unannounced IP or something like that?
I heard about that too.
It's a big studio. You guys hear me?
I think people are.
Yeah.
Okay, making sure.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What were you saying,
man?
It's
a pretty big studio though. People think it's some small. They actually got quite a bit of people there.
Yeah, I was kind of when Sony acquired BioSprite, man, I was kind of like, who are you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know who these guys are. See, at least, like with Blue Point Games and, even Housemarque, you know what I'm saying? Insomniac, like all of those recent acquisitions that they did within like the last like 3-4 years or whatever. It's like they have a history. You know what I mean? Like I could attach some kind of history to them. When I see Fire Sprite, I'm just like, who the fuck are these guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that came from studios that Sony dissolved, which we already know. But I want to know what you were saying. What was the purpose of this subject?
Well, I mean, the original purpose was just to kind of like bring light to
Sony, basically the rumor of Sony buying Square Enix shit.
Well, yeah, that was the basis for it, man.
Could you elaborate? Hold on a second. That would ever happen?
You said what?
Do y'all really think that would ever happen?
I don't, but I want Ken to elaborate because I don't know where like he's seeing it. I would like to know.
I mean, I kind of see it too. I mean,
I don't see it, but I
wouldn't say that it'll happen. But honestly, if it did, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I mean, I don't think that Sony's gonna like buy the IP or buy Square Enix or anything like that. I think if anything, they're gonna try to strike some kind of deal to try to. Whatever that deal is, I don't know. I can't say, but I think they're going to try to strike some kind of deal to try to keep the IP off of Xbox, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and if you look at Final Fantasy VII, I mean, I don't know if they have any plans of even putting that on Xbox anytime soon. But that game was supposed to come out, a while ago at this point on other consoles, supposedly. So I mean, they never said that it would, but in my opinion, that's kind of already, at least to some extent, telling that. That maybe it is true that they are trying to take the IP for Final Fantasy in particular. I just thought it was interesting that they chose that IP in particular. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like one of Square Enix's like, most popular, well-known, mainstream, IPs just in general. You know what I'm saying? For them.
And they do.
But Sony made Final Fantasy what it was. What it is now, so I mean,
and here's the thing too. Like I said earlier, from what the rumors are, they got more exclusive games with Square Enix coming, and it's not just like 2 of them; it's like 3 or 4. So
I mean, that's a rumor though, right?
It is. A rumor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true though.
I did see this thing to where they Square Enix is not ready to show this other IP that they're working with Sony because they haven't showed off Final Fantasy 16 yet. They haven't did the more gameplay of it and shit like that. They're not ready to yet.
Yeah, man. Honestly, and this is not on the IP, but the IP thing. But I mean, I think now Sony's at the point where there's just so much like energy behind their games that they kind of just let them kind of do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? And then when they come out, then they start talking about more games. So it's not like a thing of kind of like what Xbox is doing. Like Xbox, it seems like what they're trying to do is just kind of flood you with a whole bunch of like, hey man, this is what we have to, coming within the next, whatever, 4 or 5 years. Right. And we don't know anything about any of them.
Hey, I
Whereas,
just want to know what games is coming out in 2022 for like the first 6 months
for you mean for Sony or for Xbox?
for Xbox.
Oh, bro, look, man, they ain't got no.
Because I think I know they got Crossfire X, but I heard that game was trash.
Yeah, but you know what, man?
And the campaign's not even in Game Pass. You still got to pay for that.
You do have to pay for it, that's one of the other ironic
And
things.
then
It's not
Stalker
in Game
2
Pass.
got delayed to December. So I'm sitting here like,
You know what, man? See, and even with that, man, even with Crossfire and Stalker and those two games, right? It's like people keep trying to get on Sony for when they don't have like game what you call it first party games, right? To kind of fill in the space, So that whole thing about Sony not having any games for the holiday season, that's what that argument was. That argument was Sony didn't have any quote unquote first party games coming out, for that time frame. You know what I'm saying? Although they had Kana and they had Solar Ash and whatever, right? Nobody wanted to talk about that.
but here's the thing. Historically, they never really dropped their games during that time. Except for like last year or in 2020, obviously, when they released the PS5 and they had Demon Souls and Spider-Man. But other than that, they don't really release first party games during the holidays.
Yeah, man. And I heard a lot of people saying that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't even think it really mattered to begin with, man, because the argument was kind of stupid in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because
Sorry, guys.
that's
If you hear a lot of noise, it's me like shuffling around, just getting my clothes ready.
Oh no, you're good, man. Oh, I think Game Type got kicked out for a second.
But that's what I was trying to figure out. When you made this topic before, man, you were like, I believe that Sony's going to be buying new IPs. And I don't see them buying any IPs. They don't need to.
Well, that's actually not what I said. Made the title.
All right, that's fine. That doesn't matter. What are you saying? All that's wasted air.
I mean, I was just talking about the fact that they were focusing strategically on big IPs. You know what I'm saying?
Because I created the title based off of, I thought we went over the title.
Yeah,
and you were like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. It's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but
So what was your original idea?
I mean, the original idea was just the idea of Sony sort of what you call it, and I know we kind of talked about this before, but just sort of like strategically picking out larger IPs. You know what I mean? And right now, it's just a rumor, obviously, that
they're out larger IPs.
Yeah. I mean, I never said that they were buying them. You know what I mean? But I think that they're trying to obviously. It seems like what they're trying to do is get some of these big IP. You know what I'm saying? Some of these ones that kind of stand out, and it's not like
you mean like exclusive, timed exclusives. Yeah,
timed exclusive IPs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's to stop Sony. That's to stop Microsoft from getting it.
Well, I mean, there was that, but there's also just the whole thing of just Sony. I guess you could say like the IPs having such a big name that they're associated with the platform. You know what I'm saying? Which I already know that Sony kind of made what you call it Final Fantasy what it is. But even still, like in today's climate, right? I would say not that many people, at least in terms of like the mainstream, probably either know about that or even care at this point. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that Final Fantasy at this point is just a big IP in general that is popular amongst all the platforms at this point. So for people to kind of
because if Sony buys exclusivity, it doesn't stop the fact that Microsoft could just straight up buy them anyway. That's happened with Bethesda.
Maybe so. And I mean, that's still on the table.
What's still on the table?
Maybe Microsoft buying. I don't think it would happen personally because I just don't think that, the history of, working with the platform and the culture, I would say, you know what I'm saying?
That's all about money, man. They don't give a fuck, man. That shit is all about fucking money. Oh, Game Tight is in there.
Yeah. I was waiting for him to make another request, but I guess he just wants to listen.
Did you give him a request?
No, I wasn't gonna put it out unless he wanted to. I figured he probably just wanted to listen.
He got kicked out though.
Yeah, he got kicked out. But I mean, I'll invite you in, man. I got you.
I can't even like send any kind of request because fucking Twitter being a little bitch. I think he probably want to join in for the next one specifically because that's probably
my bad. Yeah, my phone was tripping.
Yeah, like Twitter is kind of heavy. You know, I don't know. It's just me. Like, my phone is not a cheap phone, and like when I boot up Twitter, it wasn't even booting up the timelines. It was just blank, and I would have to close it out and start over again. Like it's like really slow. It's the only app that's like super slow. It's gotten better, especially since spaces aren't crazy at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what, man? I'm gonna go ahead and pass the next topic on to you, but I wanted to just finish what me and Game Type were talking about the whole thing with stock because Twitter kicked your ass out, man.
Hey, I don't know, but the other day people was on my head on Twitter for no reason.
For what?
All because I said that Xbox ain't released no games for the Series X in the first year, really.
You know when I look at this shit and when people, get on people's cases, I feel like people just like to buck the trend just to do it, just to be a contrarian, just because they want to be different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
people
the games that they have. If you want to talk about quality is subjective, right? Apparently, it's no one can have a real honest conversation about quality because they can be like, "Well, I like it. You don't have to like it." But across the board, people tend to think that their games are kind of mediocre. They don't leave any kind of lasting impression. So going by that, it's like, okay, cool. If that's the case, then was it really a good year? Are you playing it? You know what I'm saying? Are you playing their games? And they don't have anything.
Yeah, because people kept making this argument, talking about, because this dude posted this article talking about how Jim Ryan said that PlayStation's not interested in having PS5 games come to PS4. And I'm like, dude, what PS5 game that's came out is on PS4?
Well, what do you? Wait. What do you mean exactly? Can you get in more in detail?
Because this dude, like one of these dudes, posted this article talking about how Jim Ryan said that PlayStation's not interested in having PS5 games come to PS4, right? But what game has Sony released that's a PS5 game only that's come to PS4?
I mean, people are probably gonna say GT7 because that originally
that's the only one, and I agree that was the only one, right? Because they announced it as a PS5 game.
Yeah,
right?
it was under the logo during the show.
Yeah, it was.
But you know what, man?
That's the only one. That's literally the only one. They never said that Horizon was going to be PS5 only, and they never said God of War was going to be PS5 only. People assume that, but they literally never said that.
But that's basically people saying lying.
Sense if you really think about it, because at the same time, why would they only have their? You got to think about it. GT7, Horizon, God of War. Those are their three biggest games they have, right? Why would they abandon the 120 million PS4s?
You know what, man? But
honestly, I think they would. If consoles were available and you could go into the store and get them, it'd be a reason for them to go buy the console. They can't buy it straight up.
Exactly. I agree. But that's what I'm saying. Why would they do that for those IPs? Now, Ratchet and Clank, like Returnal and Demon Souls, they're not as big as those three IPs. So of course they would put those games on PS5, for PS5 only. That makes sense. But they're not gonna put God of War on PS5 on that, and not to mention those two games, God of War and Horizon, they started production on PS4. They didn't start on PS5, unlike GT7 did.
They were deep. They were like 2/3 into it by the time they got dev kits.
They had already started on PS4. Now, like I said, GT7, they did. It was announced as a PS5 game. Like they announced it. They said they started it on the PS5, but then they later on changed it.
Yeah, they're making 2 different versions for their games. They'll actually be different. They won't just be Res 2 like if you look at Horizon. I think that's why they both got delayed.
Horizon was supposed to be it was supposed to release, I believe, in 2020. 2019 and 2020.
No, they said it was 2021. It was supposed to release in 2021.
I think it was supposed to be early. I think it was supposed to be like February last year.
Yeah.
And GT was supposed to release last year too, but now they're making 2 builds.
It took a long time. I was waiting for Horizon. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for Horizon a lot, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, I figured it was going to be on the PS4, and then 3 years into the PS5, you have the because Horizon is supposed to be a trilogy.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all know, but do y'all know that girl? Her name is Rose that be on here. The black girl.
I think I've seen her around. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Well, anyway, she's like real. She's got inside. Like she be talking to the people at like Santa Monica and shit. And y'all know that God of War got delayed because of Chris Judge got an injury, right?
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to do shit. That's why they got delayed the first time. And what they decided to do was that when they got delayed and they started doing it again, it was supposed to just be the sequel to the first game, right? But what they're doing is, at least according to her, and it kind of makes sense. What they're doing is they're going to put the sequel and the third one together in this game. That's why.
That's what he ended up saying anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, when people talk about God of War getting delayed, I'm like, well, the reason why I got delayed was because dude had like a hip problem or something like that, like a hip.
He got both hips replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he got a new skeletal frame put in, dude.
But you know what, man? Freaking like all people are gonna do is post some random ass article, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny too, because a lot of those articles and stuff are out of context in terms of like they don't want to give any leeway to the fact that the fucking pandemic changed a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Bro, thank you.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to push a console that no one can buy?
Man.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
you gotta get a PS5 to get this. I can't get a PS5. The fuck ain't my fault. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, if all this shit wasn't happening with the fucking pandemic, and Sony
because it sells new consoles. The problem is not selling consoles; it's having them.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say as far as like GT7, right? Because they announced the game as a PS5 exclusive, right? Yeah, but they're not able to get consoles to people, man. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, they have an install base of over 113, 12.
Exactly. And
they can upgrade those games when they can get a PS5 for just $10, and then boom, just download the patch. Yeah, so people will still buy it because you can just play it. You can just
And don't get me wrong, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not up here saying like we should apologize or be an apologist about the shit. But at the same time,
I'm not. But you might be waiting another year and a half unless you sit on your computer all day to actually get a PS5 if you want to get it for price. Let's be real.
Well,
I know a guy at work that sits by his computer every night on drops, and he get that shit in 6 seconds. He's 2 seconds too late though.
Well,
he goes into work tired.
Here's the thing, man. Things change. Things fucking change. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have an idea or a goal or of how you want things to happen, and it just doesn't happen that way. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Me and Ken can attest to shit. Like especially making this podcast, it morphs and shifts and changes. But that's how social media is. You can never change your mind. Like what you say is set in stone. And if you do change it because of whatever existential reason, you are a fucking horrible person. Nobody is being an apologist for things being changed. But just like you said, Game Tight, that was people wanted to see what they wanted to see, and people were like, "Whoa, they lie." I remember Thrash said this. They're lying.
I've heard that shit. So
I'm like, bro,
what did they lie about? If you really read,
yeah, but why you gotta really read into it? Just like they said that when they said that Horizon wasn't a part of the launch games. They never said it. They gave you a list of the launch games that they were going to have that was going to be cross-platform. And people were like, you said that. You said this. You said that. So Sony was like, yeah, bet. All right, yep, I'll put it in there. But you know what? From now on, you gotta pay extra $10 for the shit. That's what you get.
I remember we talked about
people
that.
are really tripping over that too. There's a little measly
And I
$10.
bet you these
You
niggas ain't
spend that
gonna
every
buy the
day to go
fucking
to
game.
McDonald's.
I bet you they ain't gonna buy the fucking game. How about that? People are tripping about the games being $70. People are tripping about a whole bunch of stupid shit. And you know, like I said, Sony can't mess the fuck up because they are a multicultural and mass appeal type platform as the PlayStation is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, man. Nintendo, even though Nintendo is selling, Nintendo is not. It just isn't, because all their games they only have a type of game that sells.
Hey, like I was saying earlier, bro, there's nothing, bro. They've been trying to find any and everything to shit on Sony about.
I wonder why. I wonder what like I feel like because it's popular, and if they buck the trend, it'll trigger the algorithms of whatever respective like social media. That's what I believe.
Yeah, because like that girl
if you were in that
TV,
if you were in that economy all last gen, man, you'd be hurting too. Your feelings would be crushed.
Yeah, because that girl from
you know what, man?
TV show,
that shit scarred them motherfuckers, dude.
Yo, honestly, I haven't heard about that shit in a little while because we haven't really been talking about it. Well, I mean, I've heard of it, but we haven't talked about it in a while. As far as like how last gen turned out, and that's probably why a lot of people kind of have some of this like built-in animosity that they want to kind of like, you know,
stop taking L's.
And maybe we'll talk about that, because I feel like it is absolutely incredible that people are just literally creating their own realities, like fucking like Scarlet Witch, like literally creating their own realities. And saying that place, like that one girl from fucking G4, they don't have anything, and then they put it under the guise of, that's just my opinion, bro. No, bitch, you fucking wrong.
Bro,
she don't even play Xbox, dude. She plays PC. Fuck out of here.
She got on there talking about how, you know, like the sexism and stuff like that.
Bro,
fuck out of here. She does that shit all the time.
Nobody was talking about that girl until she said this, and that was one of the posts that I made on Twitter. Nobody was speaking on that girl until she said that stupid ass shit she said. And she really
you're not exempt.
Stupid. But here's the thing. They like to jump on. This is what it's always. Let me play a victim and use the victim cards, right? So it's either you're misogynist, you're homophobic, or you're sexist. They use or you're racist, right? All the is. You know what I'm saying? To try to put their point across and latch it on to something that people can get behind on. The bottom line is this: you're ugly. Deal with it.
Here's the thing, though. Nobody was even.
What's going on, Devil Shooter?
Nobody was even talking about that.
Like, nobody. I didn't even know this bitch existed, yo.
That.
And to be honest with you,
talking about what she said.
Yeah, it was about what she said. But here's the thing: online, even when you look at the crazy liberals online, right? If you don't take the vaccine, I hope you die. This is not new in terms of how the internet becomes like a complete like fucking trash pit. This isn't new. People say fucked up shit all the time on the line. So for her to just sit there, I can't believe.
Yo, she's got a record for doing that. She does that.
I can't believe like they really gave this bitch a platform, yo.
She does that every time.
How about you take that money and clean the two front teeth that you have? That's the only two that's dirty.
Bro,
how would you do that?
Them posts that I made, I couldn't tell you how many names I was getting called because of that post I made, and you don't see me crying on social media about it.
I don't give a fuck.
That's why. Because what happens is it's illogical what she was trying to do. She said that she made that for another reason. No, the fuck you didn't. Nobody was on your shit.
Nobody
until you start talking about like you start saying crazy shit. I didn't know who she was either. As a matter of fact, when they showed when I was on Twitter and people were scrolling through it, I honestly thought that it was. I swear to God, yo, I thought she was an NPC.
No, well, she was. Did you hear? She said nobody gets on Adam. We're reading off the same cards here.
No, I'm not talking about
because
that.
that shit's
I'm
all.
talking about. I'm talking about.
Well,
I didn't know. I didn't know.
all that shit was pre-written.
No, I know. We've seen it, but I didn't know that she was even a real thing. I thought she was CGI. Like I thought they just superimposed her into the image. I really thought that she was like polygons. She looked so fucking weird to me. She didn't look real to me. Like she didn't load properly or some shit. Like I didn't even know who she was. And then I turned on the fucking volume. I'm like, oh, she's a real person. And then I was like, and now I'm looking at her. I was like, oh, she got all the fucking tropes of, liberal bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, let me see what she had to say. I clicked on there. Oh, Sony's in danger. Oh, they don't have nothing. I haven't touched my PlayStation 5 in like months.
She doesn't own an Xbox.
And here's the thing, bro. It's so hypocritical when it comes to Sony. Bro, they didn't launch any games, bro.
They didn't have anything the year before either.
They didn't launch any. How do you release a new console and you don't launch any games?
860 days between big IPs.
Bro,
860 days.
Sony had did that, it'd have been
860.
World War 3.
860.
You know what's funny, man? It's funny because even all of the stuff that did come out, throughout 2021, right? Like Deathloop and all those games, right? That shit came from Bethesda.
Yeah, bro, they gave us a game for PlayStation before they gave them one for Xbox,
and that makes it it's a double. Yeah, I mean, and he can't even play it on Xbox. But see, Bethesda
that's not a dub. They can have that.
I mean, even if you don't like the game, but that's besides the point. The point is that one of their studios,
we get the next one too.
We're PlayStation for PS5 only, and they didn't launch one. They still don't have one. Well, unless you want to count Flight Simulator.
Yeah, but that shit came out in 2020. So
that's what I'm saying. So like I said, if it was reversed and Sony had did some shit like that, guarantee you that shit everybody would be talking about that. They'd be talking shit about Sony.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they did fantastic in terms of because if you think about it, right? 2020. Their
launch was a good year. Period. Their launch lineup, like that was fucking crazy, dog.
I mean, think about this shit, man. Because even back from 2018, right? They had Spider-Man that came out. They had God of War that came out, and I think some other shit that came out. Then
2020 was massive, dude.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is even back from 2018 all the way up until 2020 for the PS4, they had dropped a shit ton of games, man. You know what I mean?
That's facts. Games.
Yeah, and it's crazy because even in 2020, at the end of the generation for the PS4, The Last of Us, whatever you think about the game, Dreams and Ghost of Tsushima, and you know what I'm saying, they even had the Persona 5 Royal and all that stuff, right?
Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Neo 2.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake. They had all of those games that came out in 2020, and then for the transition from the PS4 to the PS5, they had Demon Souls. They had Sackboy, Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? They had all of these games that transitioned you from the PS4 to the PS5, and then. And going into 2021, you know what I'm saying, they had all this other stuff Returnal, obviously, Ratchet and Clank and all that other shit, right? So it's I feel like they did the best job in terms of transitioning you, not only from giving you a great year from 2020 to 2021, and then having a bunch of shit to play for 2020 throughout 2021. You know what I'm saying?
So what I'm saying here, right, is that Sony promised a smooth transition, a soft transition between the PS4 and 5, and they fucking delivered. And yes, she's one of those people, devil shooter, that literally was PC equals Xbox or some stupid shit. But anyway, going back to
she don't have an Xbox.
I know, that's what we just said.
That's the funny thing.
She plays League of Legends.
So that's the funny thing. She's showing an Xbox, but she believes that both of the platforms are interchangeable. Apparently,
she reads from a queue. You know who they're sponsored by.
Well, that was the thing. I was speaking to Black about this, the Magnificent Black, and he was like, "Yo, it was a lot of revelations with that statement." She went out and on a limb and said that this was a different situation than what she was talking about. No, the fuck it wasn't. You lumped them together, but didn't lump them together. You know what I'm saying? You decided to go onto a rant based off of some shit that you couldn't take the pressure because they told you to read that shit so they can garner views. Buck the trend so that people can like look at our fucking G4. Guess what? G4 failed because it's just a shitty platform. That's why it failed.
And
if it was any good, it would have transitioned to the internet, and IGN wouldn't be as big as what it is. And what she said before about I'm not here for people to jerk off to. Well, guess what? Olivia Munn was doing. She was licking PSPs. She was putting hot dogs in her fucking mouth. She was doing a whole bunch of shit. And guess who told her to do that? The same employer that you work for. Shut the fuck up.
No, you're talking about I know who you're talking about, but that's not her
Megan name. Or whatever.
No, Olivia Munn did the same thing. She licked the fucking PSP. It was a whole bunch of people that were doing it. It was a whole bunch of fucking chicks.
There's another chick that worked at that company that did it too. I can't remember the name.
It was a lot of people, but she was the one. I'm talking about Olivia Munn specifically because she worked for G4. Your employer told her to do that shit and bounce up and down with her titties and make these fucking. They told her to do that.
And here's the thing. The biggest problem with what she said was, here's the thing. Even if you don't like the games that Sony released, that's fine. You don't have to like them. But don't sit here and tell this blatant lie talking about how PS5 released no games or has no games. When that's a complete lie.
This is why I was saying this is why
give Xbox all this praise because of all these games they released. What games?
This is why I was saying to Ken
they're in
earlier,
the Hindu calendar.
You cannot like something and just be completely against it. I don't like The Last of Us. Everybody fucking knows at this point. I don't like it. I'm not going to say it there and say it's trash because it's not, but I don't like the game.
And that's fine.
That's fine because guess what?
Like humans, completely fine.
As humans, it's like for me to say that The Last of Us is absolute fucking garbage. For me to say that, I'm being completely disingenuous, and that's a lie. It's a lie. It's a flat out lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm the minority. It doesn't matter. And my opinion is I don't like it. That's just the bottom line. It doesn't jive well for me. And that's where the argument ends. She sat there and said that nothing came out for the PlayStation.
Exactly. And
you can sit there and say that I have no interest in the shit that comes out. They need to do better. You know what I'm saying? Because I have stuff on PC and Xbox she don't even have a fucking Xbox. I don't know what to say anymore. I can't say that she has an Xbox.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. When Jessica Chobot licked the PSP, that shit was kind of like low-key sexy as fuck, yo.
Oh my god. We want to go to the next topic. This is what I want to say. Right. Because this is a transition perfectly. I mentioned earlier in this podcast that we were going to talk about the numbers for PlayStation versus Xbox. Right. And my topic was, should Sony make a cheap console? I've thought about this for a while, especially when they said that it won Black Friday. And now the rhetoric is, this is what I mean by people creating their own fucking realities using the reality stone, apparently. They're just making their own fucking shit up. Apparently Sony or Microsoft is sold 12, 13 million.
That's a fucking lie.
And here's the thing. The Series X is struggling. They can't make, well now, I mean, I'm starting to see Series X just right there, just sitting right there, waiting for somebody to pick up now. But let's go backwards for a few months. When it wasn't there, the Series S was, and the reason why they were able to pump that the fuck out because it wasn't as complicated to create. The GPU is 4 teraflops versus 12. It's easier to make that fucking console point blank period. And most of those numbers about shipped is this fucking S. That's what it is.
Keyword shipped. Not
and
sold.
On top of it, the operative word. But here's the thing: people online, like the guy that mentioned sales, I don't know what the fuck his name is. He has like that Asian avatar. It looks like I don't know what it is, or a king or some shit like that. He always announcing the fucking NPDs and shit like that, right? It's amazing what Microsoft did. No, the fuck it's not. Is it the X? Is it that 12 teraflop? 50 to 52 CU processor? Is it that one? Or is it this one? The really easy one to make. So my question here is, would you guys consider what you guys think is Sony fucked up? not making a simpler version of the PlayStation 5.
No, I don't think so.
Here's the thing: the one of the biggest reasons why it's like that is because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
and it's not like anybody saw this coming. Like Sony didn't see this coming. I sure the fuck didn't see this coming. So why would they think that? Because the only reason why it's harder to make these things for the most part, or a big reason why, is because of the pandemic. If the pandemic doesn't happen, we're not talking about this for the most part.
Speaking of which, even Valve, when they said they was making the Steam Deck, they couldn't even do that. Any cutting edge technology is struggling right now.
Yeah, it's period. Not, and that's the thing. It's not even just the PS5 or the Xbox. It's hard to make those like those new like those 3090s and shit like that.
The GPUs.
Yeah, those are just as hard or just as hard to find.
Yep.
And they're twice the price. Like if somebody's selling them, there's dudes out here selling them for like 3-4 bands, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a bad move, man, because ultimately, once all of this shit blows over, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the demand is gonna kick back in, man. I mean, the demand is already there. They're just not able to keep up with it. You know what I'm saying?
And not to get political, but with this Omicron variant, and they just they said they did make one. They made the digital count. I'm talking about one that's for $300. A cheaper one, not a 400. But this Omicron variant being more contagious, and then the government was like, yeah, you come back to work in half the time, even though it's more contagious, and they gave you whatever excuse that they gave you, that already lets you know that people, they're like, yo, it's fucking up the economy, that people can't work. We got to get people on board regardless of what the fuck's going on. So trust and believe. There was a Taryn, I believe it was like last month or a month before that. He mentions something interesting, and people seem to be under the impression that Sony and Microsoft and everything else is going to get worse. I don't think so. I think that people are ready to go back to work. I think that people are, dealing with this pandemic the way that they're dealing with it. And they're ready to get back to work. That's just what it is. That's what I believe.
And here's the thing, when it comes to like being able to get a PS5, to me, I feel like if you're a person that really, really wants one, you'd have one by now. Like if you can afford to get one, you'd have one. Like, because everybody that I know that wanted like that really, really wanted a PS5 has one. So like.
What's his name? Nelson. He can attest for that. His shit got blown out, and you just bought another one. You did what it took.
That's what I'm saying. Because like I didn't buy mine retail. I actually bought mine from a dude that was selling one, and then my brother wanted one. I actually got lucky and got his from Target at retail. But like I said, it's not easy to get one, but it's not impossible either. Like you can get a PS5 if you really want one.
Yeah, that probably a lot of that rhetoric is coming from people who are obviously fans of the console, but are probably more on the casual side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're willing to wait. Yeah, like me,
yeah.
I wasn't willing to wait. I wasn't trying to wait no longer. Like, because I spent like weeks waiting, like waiting on like Walmart and Target, and I never hit. And then I just got to a point where I was like, look, fuck it. I'm gonna just go buy one from one of these motherfuckers, and I'm gonna call it a day.
So Devil Shooter said that they did make one though, all digital console.
I said that earlier,
and it's only $400.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment on it though. Well, see, I think the difference between obviously the digital and the Xbox Series S, which is supposedly selling pretty well under the conditions, right?
It's got twice the memory too.
Well, the thing is that the digital console for the PS5 is literally the same exact specification.
Oh yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's the same console. The only thing is that they took out the disk drive. Yeah, the disk drive. The Xbox Series S and the S are completely different. So obviously they were able to make more of the Xbox Series S than the X because they're not the same console at all.
Plus, it adds a burden. This was another talking point. It adds a huge burden to the developers because it's not a scalable situation as what Microsoft positioned it to be. It has less fucking system memory. And it's not even equal. Like, it's not even like, what's the system memory? 10?
Man, it's like
it's
512 gigabytes.
Yeah, it's got 10. The One X had 12.
And what's the division in terms of it? Like, is it just slow memory? Like, what's the, like, I know, like, it's 10 of fast and 6 of,
I don't remember. The CPU's fine. It's
the regular CPU, and then the GPU is 4 teraflops with a fucked up memory setup and a lot less memory on top of it in terms of SSD. Like, if you were to buy the $200 SSD, you might as well buy the X.
Facts.
Yeah, you got 364 gigs. That's like 2 big games, man. You're done. Stalker 2, that shit's 2/3 full.
Yeah. I think, honestly, man, as far as this whole thing about like Microsoft being able to get their consoles out, I think they were just in the right place at the right time. I think they just got lucky, basically.
But they didn't really get their consoles out, though, did they? It's not even really. Can you really consider that really, quote unquote, getting their console out?
Well, see, we don't really know, because the thing is that they're very disingenuous with their marketing. I mean, their rhetoric, because they keep, just like this article that came out the other day, man. You know, Microsoft shipped 12 million consoles. That doesn't tell you exactly how many actually made it to the customer. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't even tell you which one it is. Like, you don't know if it's the X or the S, or if the S sold more or the X sold. You don't know any of that stuff. All you know is that they manufactured 12 million that was shipped. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you look at Sony, right, they were blatantly clear about the numbers that they said. You know what I'm saying? They sold 13 million consoles.
That shit sold before they make it to the store.
And wasn't that like in September or something like that? Like,
and I was just getting ready to say that. Yep, yeah, because those numbers are old, man. That's not even the updated numbers.
They probably didn't sold like what y'all think? Probably like 3 million by now. Yeah. 3 million more.
The point is, if they were replacing, making more Series X's, they'd probably be making them about as fast as they're selling. PS5, they could put out 10 million today and they'd be gone in a week.
You know what's funny?
Let's be real.
I was gonna make a tweet about this, man, just as a joke, but people keep saying like, "Oh, the Xbox Series S is just available." You know what I'm saying? They did a.
It's been available since last February. I can get one almost every week.
I was gonna say, right? You know, because everybody's like, "Oh, Microsoft, they did so well." You know, being prepared for the the pandemic and the Xbox Series.
Nobody wants this bitch.
And I was gonna say, I was like, you know why? Because nobody's buying it.
Man, hey, I could go to bed. Like I said,
I could come home with like 30 of those by the end of a day, dude.
Yo,
I went to the store. Those fucking lockers are full, dude.
Yo, lack of demand will keep your inventory good. But it's fucking stupid.
It's just, to me, Sony took out the components that would not compromise your gaming experience. You know what I'm saying? Historically, you know, when they made the PlayStation 1, there was there was red, yellow, and audio video cables, basically, that was built into there. And that was extra overhead that Sony didn't want to keep, so they just fucking took it away. PS2 had all these fucking USB cables and shit like that, and they took that away for the slim one. You know what I mean? The PS3, they had another model, but it was a 20 gig, and it didn't do Wi-Fi, if I'm not mistaken. But the gaming experience wasn't compromised. Yeah, this is the first time, even with the PSPs, there was one with 4G and one without. This is compromised, straight up. It's compromised, and that's that's the thing. Let me take a look here. Okay, yeah, let's make sure it works. It was compromised, and are people asking for it? Or are they just impatient and they pay for the consequences later? Is that what's going on, or you know?
Hey, and here's the thing, bro. A PS5 for $400, especially when you compare it to the Series S, bro. That's a hell of a deal.
You got twice the memory, deal, bro. 2.5 times the power.
You pay $100 more and you pretty much get double what you getting.
2.5 times more power, twice as memory. Fucking crazy.
See,
Yeah, like it's not
one of
even
the things that
close.
people need to understand what the PS5 is offering. I mean, I guess the reason why I ask this question is because there's a lot of fucking people
File
that are.
sizes are smaller too.
I was going to say that. The reason why I was asking is because I don't think that even if Sony made a simpler console, a worse console, right? I don't even think that that would help. I think that that would sell out too, especially with the pedigree that Sony has. Like, I don't know how Forbidden West is going to run on the PS5 4. I don't know how that's going to work.
Hey, from what I've seen, like, cause they, those screenshots leaked, man, that shit looks good.
That's
It
what I'm
really is.
saying. Even
Like, and
even
that's the
when
PS4 version that they showed.
that's
Wasn't
what
even
I'm
the PS5
saying.
version.
And it's like if that's not compromised, then I mean,
I mean,
people are yeah.
no, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, man. I think the PS5 will stand the test of time. You know what I'm saying? Because right now it's very circumstantial, like the situation, as to why like people can't get their hands on them. You know what I mean? So I like you just said, I don't really think making a cheaper console is the answer. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that the fact that Microsoft has the cheaper console is necessarily like the right move. I just think that they were I don't know. I just think they got lucky, to be honest with you. Because even when like when the consoles first came out, them bitches were not selling at all. Like period. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Even now they're not selling.
hey, it's funny you say that. Like, if Sony had a cheaper version, bro, that one will be sold out too. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
like if you compare, like, let's say they were the same, like the Series S and whatever. Like, if they made a cheaper one for the PlayStation, you can guarantee you that PlayStation one will be sold out, just like the PS5 is,
Easy. You know
because it's
why?
PlayStation.
Because it's PlayStation and Sony has a lot of Sony has a lot of pros to their console. Even if they made a console that was less, and I think that they will be able to. The way that they created the the PlayStation 5, they have, what is it, 36 CUs, right? And they're clocked high. They can divide that shit, right? Um, and just be half the power, right? And basically they could scale everything down. They don't have a lot of silicon. Well, actually, I think they have a close amount of silicon. Um, silicone is it silicon as the Series X console. So I actually come to think about it, I have to retract that. I don't think they'd be able to do that successfully to scale down. I don't think it'll be possible.
Hey, and that's another thing. I don't. Why is it that they get to combine the Series X and the Series S cells when they're not
The
the same
sales.
thing?
Yeah. I thought about that. Because
Like, they should
it's
be
Xbox.
separate. Like, they're two completely different systems.
Because the consoles for now, they can play both of the games. So what I think is going to
I mean,
happen
I
in the
get that, but there's a lot of it.
they
I mean,
shouldn't
that
though. Don't
makes
get it fucked
sense,
up. They
but
shouldn't. They shouldn't. You're right. They absolutely positively shouldn't be together. You know, all that talk about not leaving people behind. The Xbox One must be selling so terribly that they just had to discontinue the shit.
oh, and you know what's funny? Now that you say that, because people was talking about how Sony's making all these, those million PS4s or whatever, and how
Which is good.
Xbox is the ones that are actually, pushing gaming forward with like next generation. And I'm like, well, first of all, it makes sense for them to discontinue the Xbox One because it didn't sell well.
You know, they just
That
impaired. You
makes
know,
sense. It's wasted money. Of course they would discontinue it. The PS4, however, now I know it's not selling what it used to. It's still selling.
they slowed that shit
Yo,
down to a halt.
used PS4s are high as shit right now. A
Yeah, that's what I'm
refurbished
saying.
Pro right now is $370 at fucking GameStop because people can't even get old ass systems. Vita prices are out of control.
But
Yeah,
the
that is
Vita
true.
stopped. The
Vitas is going
Vita,
up too.
they haven't sold that. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just saying,
So
even older consoles, One X's right now are like $400, man. They cost. You can get a Series S on Marketplace for $220, but if you want a One X, you
That
got to
is
pay
true.
$350.
Yeah, that's true. Because I haven't seen it too.
There's all kinds of them.
I
Like,
still
give me
have
Makes no
220.
sense to me.
honestly, man, I kind of low key don't want to sell the One X, man, because I feel like it might raise in value like over time.
I remember when you got that stupid ass fucking console. I was like, for what though?
No, not the X, not the Series X. I'm talking about the One X, the
On
Xbox
One
One.
X. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, because they actually discontinued the console.
Yeah, they're going up in price because people would rather have that.
Yeah,
There are some games that run at a higher resolution
Oh,
on the One
Halo
X.
runs way better on One X.
Yeah, they look way better on the One X. They just don't run as good. Like you're not gonna get a lock 60 on that like you would a
Yeah.
CS.
it's crazy because like when I look at the One X, man, because I have this shit sitting over here, man. This console is actually a really nice console, man.
It's
But
quiet. It's compact. It's a really
yeah,
nice. It is. It is.
it is like, and I told you this before, like because we were talking about like why we like certain consoles last week. I never liked the design of Xbox, man, like ever. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the design of the first one. I didn't. The 360 was kind of like a so-so for me, but when I look at the One X, man, this is a nice console, man. It is. I mean, you can't deny the quality of the console. You know what I'm saying? But this shit didn't sell, man.
And here's the thing, they made
Well,
that
there were no
console,
games
right?
on it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Hey, they made that console so it could be
I
like
have one.
called the most powerful console at the time. But I'm like, you
Did not
made
do
this
shit with it.
console, but
I
they
waited
didn't
all.
release anything for it.
Yo,
Gears
they did.
5.
Yo, the games they didn't have. They didn't use their like. Okay, so when I got the Pro, there were a lot of different pros. Excuse the pun for that console. Had a larger hard drive, right? It had better Wi-Fi card. It was quieter as well.
You're talking about the PS4
So
Pro, right?
the PS4 Pro,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So that was all automatically, and I think it could take pictures in 4K and stuff like that, which I was real heavy on screenshots and shit like that. But like you had shit like that, and I'm like, all right, cool, you know. And it wasn't any problem with it or whatever the case is. And then it will play the exclusives better. Either it was a higher resolution, you know what I'm saying, or it ran at a more stable frame rate. You know what I'm saying? So I was at least I had that false security, if you will, of feeling like it was better. You know what I mean? And then some of the experiences were better. Like it put my 4K TV to use. You know what I'm saying? So it allowed me to buy one early on, even though it wasn't, everything was in 4K. The Series X, or sorry, Series X, excuse me, Xbox One X,
Well,
it's
$100 goes a lot of ways in the console. I mean, One S was $350 and a PS4 Pro was $400, and they came out at the same time. And the one or the
the
Pro
One
had
X
three
is
and a half times the
500, right?
power. Huh? Yeah, the
The
One X was 500. That's like the
yes,
difference between the PS5 and a Series S.
Yeah, that's
Fuck
more
out of
expensive than the
here.
PS4. The PS5 is right now. That's crazy.
and I'm like, yeah, that's what it was, and it was like I was thinking to myself when it was released, I was like, well, what if they released a console? Like, how how is that going to work? You know what I'm saying? How exactly is that going to work if you have a $500 last generation console and then a $500 current generation console? Because if you guys remember, before the pandemic kicked off, they thought that these consoles were going to be like 800.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Oh
remember
yeah, I
that.
remember that. Yeah.
Hell
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So this must have been a viable option at the time, at least on the boards. Like this, that's one of the biggest problems with Microsoft in general. Microsoft seems to not be forward thinking, and I'm saying this in a genuine way. They do things
On the fly.
on the fly. Thanks.
They had the Series S, and then the next year they had the Series X. So people went out and bought the Series S, and then like 6 months later, next year Series X. Like, man,
Like
I just bought this
You know what,
motherfucker.
man?
What the fuck?
even if it was good, even if it sold, even if like this holiday season, last one or the one that just passed, even if it sold well, it's still off the premise of we hope that these young niggas buy this shit for Fortnite.
Hey, you know what?
Yo,
You know what the
almost
most
everybody I know got
pointless?
3 of them though.
Hey, you know what the most pointless system they released was? Was that Xbox? I think it was like the Xbox One S, but it was the digital version.
Oh, the sad. Yeah,
Yeah,
goddamn, I
the
can't
sad.
keep up with They got had more consoles
They
than goddamn games.
thought that people were going to go, they were going to buy that and be the digital, like they were going to like the digital portion. And the thing is, I mean, if people would have, you just have to have a better, better games. The games always talk. You know what I'm saying? The games always talk. And I do want to say something. I know, if anybody knows me, I'm doing my own little podcast on Saturday, but I want to say this, and I know Thrash is doing one. I think, is he doing one tomorrow? You want to say PlayStation 5 versus PC, right? That's what he was saying. And there's so much value in a PS5. Like I said before, like people want that shit because it's such a plug and play. You know what I'm saying? It's such a plug and play. You got 3D audio out the fucking gate. Out the gate. It's just there for you. It's waiting for you. The game,
cheaper
like
memory, faster memory.
But now you can put whatever many. If I wanted to, my laptop is using SSD. I can be like, let me put that in there.
Hey, and another thing, and if you want to be technical, it has more memory too, because of the compression.
Well, yeah, and think about if you got 4 terabytes. I can put
more games on my PlayStation just with the memory that I have now than you can on an Xbox Series X.
Yeah, if you put a 4 terabyte in, you're gonna have to buy 6 of those fucking memory cards to make up for the difference.
And then you swatch them up. So they were like, oh, like this, even the memory card thing is so fucking like you adequately put on the fucking fly. On the fucking fly, yo. This like if you want to bring it over with your friend's house, you could do that. Nigga, people can't travel right now. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like people ain't going out there.
Man,
like you got a vaccine card.
How many people are even doing that anyway? Like,
you know what Microsoft reminds me of, man? They kind of remind me of when, you know how when somebody when they get a loan, right? Like they get credit or something, and then they spend all of their credit, right? And then they get more credit to pay for the credit. So that's what Microsoft kind of reminds me of, because it's like the One X is a good example of it, man, because they were trying to combat the whole situation with the PS4, with the narrative of having the most powerful console at the time, right? But they didn't really give you anything with the console, you know what I'm saying? And then and it was the same thing with the Series X, man. It's almost like they're always like trying to create some kind of narrative that doesn't really change the situation, but it gives them more borrowed time. You know what I'm saying?
They got a lot of fucking borrowed time. Let me tell you, because people keep falling for that shit, yo.
Hey,
bro, the king of the buzzwords, dude.
Hey, and here's the thing. This might be a little off topic, but here's the thing. Microsoft is probably like Sony's probably the only company where Microsoft can buy a publisher like Bethesda and like the whole ZeniMax deal, and are still playing catch up.
They're playing catch up. They're playing catch up, and their system is.
Every day I get on Twitter, you got Xbox dudes begging Microsoft to buy certain like developers and
another acquisition.
Yeah, they don't even want the games.
Because the thing is, that's the difference. They use. I'm glad you brought that shit up. That's the biggest difference. I thought they bought Bethesda. The problem here is that the Xbox don't even know what they're getting.
Yeah, bro, that should be so funny to me. Because, like, look, if Sony had bought Bethesda, bro,
everybody been like, yo, that fucking.
Just as far as the amount
I've been like, yo, I was already getting those games. The fuck?
But just the amount of IPs and studios they would have, bro, bro. If Sony had did that, bro, that's a complete game changer.
You know what? And Sony would have got that fucking X team and cleaned up fucking Fallout and Skyrim.
You're talking about XDev?
Yeah, the XDev. Yeah, they would have cleaned that shit up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, they begging. They like this, like that dude. He keeps thinking that Microsoft is gonna buy Take-Two.
Even if they bought Take-Two, I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought about this.
All those employees and oh my god, it'd take them a fucking 100 years to make that money back.
Well, it doesn't matter because they have the money. But I was going to say this, right?
They have the money, but then they're going to have to pay all those employees. I mean, fuck. It just
it doesn't matter. They have the money. But
They
here's
do
the
have the
thing.
money. They have the money. But here's the thing: Sony doesn't have to do that. They don't
Well, that's
have to go
but
out
well,
and buy, these super big publishers. They don't have to do that. They don't need to do that. That's the difference.
well, the difference is this too. Let's say that they are going to buy Take-Two. Honest to God, I don't think I want a Grand Theft Auto anymore. And I swear to God, it's no cap. The two people that made Grand Theft Auto, they're gone. And one could argue that there's still other people.
Hey, the one of the brothers is still there. I was just looking at it the other day.
Yeah, but the other one left because
Yeah,
the
one
way
of
they're
them left and
going.
started his own studio. Yeah,
Two people left.
He was the
It
creative
Peter
design
brother.
for single player. That's why he left. They're going all fucking.
yeah. That's what I'm
And
saying though.
And I'm like, do I really? I don't even play multiplayer for. Like, I don't like the way that their games control. I gave them the benefit of the doubt with
the
Red Dead Redemption.
The gameplay's not there,
It's
especially like
it's
with Red
it's
Dead
not
2.
like the old ones. Like, I bought out of sheer nostalgia. That's how you know it. I bought the only reason why I'm not playing it and beating it is still fucking glitchy with the PS5. Like, every time I stream, the definitive edition. Every time I stream,
yeah.
and if I go into the actual menu system, it kicks the stream off. And I'm like, well, no. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, I keep getting fucking, they keep demonetizing the videos that I make. Not that I was getting any money from them, but like, we can't play it in this country because they don't want this video or whatever to be played. And I'm like, whatever. So, but even if the gameplay was so real, it was real gameplay. Like, I played Bully, yo. Bully was fucking amazing.
Man, did you hear they had a Bully game already? Like,
They said that they're about to.
Midnight Club was the shit, dude.
They claim
fire.
that they're making another Bully. That's what they claim.
No, they canceled it.
Yeah, they canceled it.
I heard that they're doing it again.
Oh, I didn't see
They
that.
just canceled it like 3 months ago.
No, but I heard that they're doing it again. I think either Backlash calls them to do it or whatever the case is. Whatever the case is, that's what I heard.
Man, here's the thing with Rockstar. You can't believe nothing that rumor say because they be on some.
So
Rockstar.
I don't want their games. I don't. I gave Grand Theft Auto the benefit of the doubt. What are you going to do? You're going to put it in Vice City. It's going to have those fucked up controls that I don't like. And it's going to be more. And I heard it's going to be multiplayer only.
And here's the thing, though. Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't a bad game. It's just that it came out so long ago that everything feels outdated, and we're still playing it. Like,
yeah, because people keep spending $1,000 a year on the bitch.
They keep buying it. That's why.
Without a new Grand Theft Auto.
Well, they keep trying. Well, they are releasing the game for like 10. What happened? Go on.
No, I just wanted to read these YouTube comments from Devil Shooter. So he had a couple that he said here. So he said the 360 design was cool. He said the Xbox One X looks like a PS2 kind of. And then he said Xbox is dead to me. He said XDev ? That's the one that I wanted to comment on. I don't know if he knows what it is, but Devil Shooter, XDev is just that one of the support studios that Sony has. I think they're based in London, if I'm not mistaken.
They help everybody, like Visual Arts.
Yeah, they do. They kind of like float around and work with other like third party,
second party, everybody.
Yeah, to make like IP and whatever the case. And then he said Rockstar controls are trash, always have been.
It used to be a little better. It was a lot better. And I just, even if they say it today, oh, we bought them, welcome to the family, Rockstar, it's going to be great. They destroy fucking studios. Microsoft does.
Hey, but here's the thing. And I think the biggest problem with Rockstar is fucking Take-Two.
Take-Two is fucking them up, yo. I looked at the history of Grand Theft Auto, yo. It was they struck it. I don't know if you guys know this, and there's a documentary on Grand Theft Auto as well. GTA was supposed to also
they
be
just
on
bought Zynga. I mean, what do you think they're doing here?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not doing anything conducive for anybody that likes traditional gaming. So, like, I really don't care who the fuck buys them.
Bro,
they're putting casinos in the game, baby.
They spent $12 billion on that fucking mobile or that Zynga, whatever.
Get that online poker in them games.
I heard this $12 billion because of something is the value of there. I heard this that GTA 6 is in development hell. Like, that shit's fucked.
I mean, I
Fuck.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, well, I lost Dan Hauser, and he was the one who created all the worlds, the stories, all that shit. So
Like when I see it again, I mean, it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people that have a lot of good talent in terms of like minute details and shit like that. But if you don't have a good head, it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Rare was such an excellent specimen of a fucking studio, and guess what happened to Rare? Well, you know,
Rare was the second best studio on the planet at the time. I would say behind Nintendo.
I'm talking about there. Anything that
They
they put
shit
out
gold.
there,
It was fucking gold. It was either gold or platinum. There was no fucking in between.
but I'm gonna go back to before we go on to our last topic here, which is dating fuck ups. I want to say this, right? In terms of IPs, we definitely need more. Like, we need new IPs. It was just refreshing. I was talking to Ken a couple of days ago, and I was playing
PS4,
with
we got
him.
like 20 of them.
Well, now people are just capitalizing. It doesn't matter what industry they're capitalizing on new IPs.
Are you talking about
I mean,
Sony
I'm sorry.
getting new IPs or just in general?
No, I mean in general. I feel like we need it in general.
Because I was gonna say,
But,
I mean, I feel like Sony really the only ones that are like consistent.
Yeah, no shit.
New IPs.
We had
that's
so many last gen.
that's
I mean-
that's a fact.
My bad, man, because I know you've been trying to say something for a while. But now I was just gonna say, man, it's kind of been like that. Not even just in the gaming industry, man. Because me and Josh were talking about this shit, man. It seems like a lot of these companies, man, across these multiple forms of media are really, really kind of like relying on nostalgia. You know, so they're like remaking a whole bunch of like old IP, rebooting it, refreshing it, or what they're doing is when they come out with a quote unquote new show, it's always based in the same sort of like
Fable,
concept.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, like it's always based in like a similar concept. You know what I mean? Like they're not really trying to do something new. So yeah, I think it's the same thing for gaming, man. I think we need to kind of have like a refresher of like new IP.
And that's why I cannot wait to see what that game is that Cory Barlog is working on at Santa Monica. That new IP they're doing.
I'm gonna tell you right now, yo. You guys need to. Anybody that's not that. Look, I'm gonna say this before we go on to our last. Before we go on to. I'm sorry, I got a screenshot. This is absolutely. That's why I can't be looking at I can't be looking at Twitter, yo. I'm sorry. I just want to read this shit to you guys before I move on to what I was saying. This guy said, I can't beat to no lesbian porn. I need a little dick in my flick. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Right?
I was just trying to move on to the next subject and see what was going on. And this is what I see on the fucking timeline. All right. Anyway, I was like, what the fuck? But I will say this. What I was saying before is that we need new IPs. Like across the board, everybody's even like the Spider-Man movie, nostalgia. Everything's nostalgia. Nostalgia. And that's what I was going to say too. Like, if you guys are not hip to the shit that's happening in the industry, people are just not even writing good stories. They're just doing things that would appeal to social media now. And Corey, even though he made a great game, and I don't really have any complaints on it, he's trending in a direction of like getting points on social media. And I hope that the next game that he makes is going to be some political filled shit. Just make a good fucking story. Make a good story. Because I'm looking at the shit that he posts, and it just makes me not want to deal with him. I'm kind of over it.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Like, I'm hoping he's just doing it for show, but like you can't make fun of people's decision making and political leanings like in public, because most people are leaning to one direction. You know,
I mean, I think obviously he's being a bit hyperbolic on Twitter, man. You know, just
Adam Sessler said that anybody that's a Republican, they are alcoholics and they drink piss, and he hopes that if it's the Republicans in his family, I hope that they die while he sips on something bubbly. That's what Adam Sessler says, and that's the type of direction that. And I'm not either, just to let you guys know. Not that it mattered, but I don't really care about government in general. But like that's the direction that Corey is going into.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling it.
I hope not, man.
Sony in general, I'm not feeling that shit in general.
Yeah. I think it's just the entertainment in general, man. You know what I mean? And it's funny. Yeah. And it's funny because there's such a vocal minority of people who are
loud.
Seemingly making such a large impact, man. You know,
like I miss the days where I don't know your personal fucking life. I don't care.
I don't
Corey.
Want to just shut the fuck up and make the game.
Corey,
I don't give a shit.
I don't care that you divorced or you separated from your wife and that y'all good friends. I don't care. Just make the next God of War in whatever game. I don't give a fuck about you being democratic.
I don't give a fuck who you're fucking or who you partying with. Just shut up and make the game.
I don't care about your beliefs about anything. But Black lives, I'm a black dude. Just shut the fuck up and make a game. I don't care. I don't care.
I mean, I guess people
to everybody.
I guess people to some extent, man, just want people to like someone to idolize. You know what I'm saying? Want someone to follow, someone to kind of like be, even if it's like subconscious, like a role model to some extent. You know what I mean? People are meant to follow. You know what I mean?
People are they get influenced by the influencers. So when they see a lot of people following somebody, it means the world to them. So they want to try to jump that wave so they can get a little piece of that pie. And that shit's fucking annoying. But I think we should go on to, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that was pretty much it. I was just going to say that.
You took a big ass gab. Are you going to say something crazy?
Oh, no. I wasn't going to say anything like super crazy. I was just going to say that, you know, obviously people are kind of like designed to sort of follow. You know what I mean? There's always a leader. There's always a follower. You know what I mean? It's always been that way. People always look to some kind of, higher structure, hierarchy. You know what I mean? So in terms of like Cory Barlog and all this type of shit, man, or whatever, the politics and all that, I mean, he made a game that people love. You know what I mean? So it's like
they want to know more about him, but keep that shit anonymous. I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah, they want to know more about.
You can tell why. You can explain why you did make that piece, and leave it up to the user or to the consumer as to why you did it. Like we didn't know why the Wachowski brothers made the Matrix and alter egos and shit like that. No one knew. And then one day he woke up and cut his dick off and was a woman. So I mean, I imagine he believed that he was somebody else inside. You know what I mean? Which is it's fine. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at it at all. You know. But that's all I'm saying. Like I get, it is what it is. But we should go on to the last topic here. I don't think it's going to be too long. This was mine that I wanted to kind of like go on, please. What do you say?
No, I was just saying we should keep it kind of short, I guess.
I mean, nothing crazy, but like this is what I've learned on my podcast, man. Whoever it is falls along the line of or falls in line with, fine. You know what I'm saying? If you guys like that particular content, that's just the way people do things. You don't really like it, then you're free to leave. It's fine. If you don't like the last topics, but we're going to talk about it in general because really this is kind of like a conversation between two podcasters, and anybody can jump in. That was the whole reason why Ken decided to use that that kind of methodology just to go to spaces so somebody could jump in and if they wanted to talk about the shit. But dating fuck ups, right? Why did I choose this? Because I feel like if you are a person that is single, there is a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. And I had some fuck ups. Had some pretty big fuck ups. But it wasn't what you think. It's not anything crazy. The fuck up was really not reading the signs, you know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. And honestly, you know, I don't really advocate the way that dating works nowadays. Put it that way. Like what Ken, what is your experiences when you use the dating websites? How did that work out for you?
So, all right. So, I would say it's I don't know, man. It's kind of like so because the thing is that I do get matches. You know what I'm saying when I use them, but it's I don't know, man. It seems like there's a skill, I would say, to sort of like knowing how to push a conversation. You know what I mean? Especially with somebody that you don't know, because I mean, that's it. That's just it. You know what I mean? You've never met in person. You don't really have any sort of like emotional or any kind of connection with the person. So you're just kind of like giving them the energy that you kind of feel like they deserve. You know what I mean? So in context of women, man, as a dude trying to like women, a lot of times you have to kind of like, and we were talking about this the other day, man, as a dude, you kind of have to like entertain them. You know what I mean?
No,
because
no. That's how we feel, and I feel like shit is changing. I do not want to go down that rabbit hole, thinking that's. And remember, this is just to try to improve people that are not married. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, because even if you listen to a lot of these like dating coaches and stuff like that, and they tell you like, well, how do you up what you call it, like level up your online dating game and all this kind of stuff, right? They always tell you, well, one of the reasons why these chicks are not replying to you is because you're boring. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying anything that's like exciting to them or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're like a clown, you know what I mean? Like you're out here like a just like honking your nose and all, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you're that, but thing is yeah, look at me, that whole thing, right? But it's like to an extent, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Especially when you have women who have so many options, especially on these days, man. Because it's so easy for them to just swipe left, swipe right. You know what I mean? You do kind of have to stand out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If that's the route that you're trying to go. So in terms of me, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's kind of like so because, I do get matches, but like I said, sometimes it's kind of hard to kind of like, break through that barrier. You know what I mean? And it also depends on how much energy you're willing to put into it. But I will say this as well, because believe it or not, man, and I don't know how many people kind of like get into the nitty gritty of that kind of this whole online dating thing. But there's actually even a skill to like how you set up your profile and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a very like specific, like you have to take professional pictures and, there are certain pictures that you have to take that convey different parts of your life. You know what I mean?
Well, let me get into this because here's the thing. I want to specify this. This last topic is designed to be kind of like the day in the life of an actual fan of gaming and what comes with it. We all know that there's an archetype for gamers. We act a certain way, typically. And a lot of the times, things are just we're out of the loop when it comes to like the whole dating game. So like I'm gonna put myself out there and say that I'm out of the loop as well. It's social skills. People invest a lot of time online and they don't really go out much. It may not pertain to you, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely one of those situations where people are really, they suffer because they didn't build those particular skills. And this is what this section is about. is to get out there, touch some grass, you know what I'm saying, and kind of give people a direction and let you know that we're some regular ass fucking people too, contrary to me looking like Kratos, but we're some regular ass fucking people that have the same fucking issues. You can have everything it looks that you can have all the looks, and I'm not saying that I'm attractive, but you can have the looks and be awkward as shit. I mean, we all seen a chick, right?
You're beautiful, man.
Shut up. We all see some chicks, right? Where they was beautiful, and they were just the most awkward bitch of all time, yo. You like, what the fuck is wrong with, ma'am? Do you have Asperger's? What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? So you could be awkward as shit, and typically gamers are awkward. It is what it is.
You know what, man? It's not even just gamers, though, man. I mean, I know that's the focus.
But you want to take this somewhere all the way down the street, man? Go on, man.
No. I was just gonna say, because I feel like it's just sort of like in general, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't really have like good social skills just across the board. You know,
they don't. They are so enamored or consumed by technology. Women is basically social media, and men is gaming. You know what I'm saying? A chick looks at a fucking phone more than she looks at the actual environment. You know what I mean? That's how ridiculous things are at this point in time. And a guy, you know what I'm saying, whether it be through escapism or whatever the case is, they get a very skewed view on life, view the medium or through the medium that they use. So I was a victim of, you know, fucking up with dating because I didn't have the social cues needed. I was out of the game for so long. It was this girl, it was in the summer. I'll be honest with you, I could have let her down gently. She was one of those situations where she looked, the picture's all right. It wasn't really anything crazy. I was thinking to myself, I was like, why is she so damn far away in a photo? And I'm like, damn. And you know, it's far as hell. But I was like, I could try to make up things, whatever the case is. And then, of course, she had like the fucking bunny ears and rabbit ears and the fucking sparkles and shit like that for her other profiles, right? So we're talking and shit like that. And, of course, she's kind of like a little awkward, but whatever. Take her out on a date. And I'm waiting for her. And I see some girl walking towards me. And she didn't look anything like the picture. As she got,
you looked faster, didn't you?
I did. I didn't even think of it. I didn't even like.
You're like,
I didn't even think of it.
It's like,
she goes walking up to me. I'm thinking like, oh, you know, they're open right now. You know what I'm saying? Just let you know that they are open, but we're waiting outside. And she's looking like, "Are you Josh?"
Yo,
I was like, "Oh yeah. Oh, you Samantha?" Oh yeah. Excuse the clothes and stuff like that. And the funny thing is,
was she like overweight, or did she not have makeup on, or like what was the situation with that one?
I already told you, but I'll tell everybody else so they didn't hear this shit.
I don't remember, honestly. To be honest with you,
face. You ever see those National Geographic, right? You see the sand and it has cracks in it. You know what I mean? When they go to Nevada or whatever the case is, and you see like they talk about the droughts. You see like the fucking lizard that skips over the hot desert sand and it's like clay and it cracks. Her face looked like that. She had deep cracks around her eyes. Ooh. And she looked a good 15 years older than those pictures.
Oh, dear God, man. It was the filters, wasn't it?
Well, remember I told you in the beginning, she took a picture all the way down the street. So yeah. I couldn't really, I was like, I can make out her features, but I didn't see it. That's why I couldn't see it. She wasn't caught in 4K, you know, unfortunately. I saw her at 720p in this particular case. But like she goes ahead and I'm like, oh man. And it was just like the fuck up for this date. I should have just really found some way to wiggle out of it. That's honestly, that was my faux pas. I should have just been like, I'm out of here. I entertained it a little bit too much. And to be honest with you, for some pussy. But I didn't. Here's the thing, right? as I kept talking to her, I didn't like her. I didn't like the fact that she looked different. I didn't like the fact that this is what she was saying. She said that she had her own place and that she was a teacher, but her parents owned the place that she lived in, and they come there periodically once a year. So it really wasn't her place. But she was touting that she had her own place, but it wasn't hers. It's under her family's or her parents. And I'm like, I'm not liking that. But another thing, she tried to wear like a low cut shirt, and maybe the fucker was her actually, but she tried to wear a low cut shirt, right? And she had no support for her breastises. It was it was, bro, her breast hung so fucking low, yo.
How old was this chick, man?
She was 36.
Oh man.
And she looked a good 50.
Oh my God, man.
She had a vape, so I guess she smoked. She said she used to go to the beach, so that definitely fucked her face up a lot. You know what I mean? Because I guess she was the one that didn't put on sunscreen. It was really tanning. So she had that, and her chest, like the line between the two breasts, it went all the way down to the middle of her fucking abdomen. Like that's how low her titties hung.
Oh God.
And she somehow walked outside thinking now that was going to be appealing.
She thought she was killing it, yo.
She thought she was killing it, man. And as I was walking, people were looking at us like,
bro, you need to get away from it.
Something don't look right. Like, what is this supposed to be? You know, because I mean, I don't look the youngest, but you know what I mean? I don't look. I wouldn't say I don't look that. I would look a little younger than me being 37, but like, it was to the point where it was really, really, it wasn't good, and she knew it wasn't. And when we were talking and we were dating and we were in the date, she was throwing some signs out that she wanted me to go to her house, right? And she was like, I feel like we're grown, she says, right? We're grown. So, if I wanted to, she said, if I wanted to bring you over to my house, I don't really care about what other people think of me. And that would have been what I wanted. The problem was, it was just like, if I do it, then she's going to be there. And as I'm not going to like it. She doesn't look like she's active. She doesn't look like it was just, one of the things, I'll say this. I just want to paint the picture. I'll stop right there. Is that I was too fucking friendly. Like, I was like gay friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't showing any interest. So it was very homosexual acting. You know what I mean? And it wasn't very male. Like, that was my fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, that's so nice. How long did you work there? It was so fucking gay, yo. I swear to God, it was so terrible. And the reason why, though, it was very
repellent that night, dude.
But she still wanted it. But the thing is, the reason why I was acting that way is I had no interest. As the date progressed, that was my fuck up. As the date progressed, I just didn't want her. I wasn't attracted to her like at all.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I really shouldn't. I should have just ended it. I ended up like a pussy ghosting her. After a while, I just stopped talking to her. It wasn't like a ghost. It was just like we had a conversation, and I just, I answered her, and then I just really just one word answers, and then she just stopped replying.
I mean, I would have just stopped talking to her, man. I mean, because if you weren't that interested in her after the first date, I mean, what other reason would you have to communicate with her? So you're not attracted to her. You're giving her more attention than what she needs in the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
What about you? What about your fuck up? You ever had a dating fuck up? Come on, be honest. I know your secret.
Yeah. I mean, I would say yeah. I mean, because I actually just hung out with this chick. One of the ones that I told you about, like probably like 2 weeks ago, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And so the date actually went fine. But what I think I think where I fucked up on the date is that two things, actually. I'll say two things. The first thing is that my planning was bad. So like I had to work that day, man, and I only had a chance to, and everything was kind of like squeezed in. I only had like maybe like an hour to hang out with her. And as you so adequately put, chicks don't really like that shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to feel like you're squeezing them into your time and you don't have time to hang out with them and all that kind of stuff, right? So the time that we did spend together was fine. And she was cool and she's pretty and all that kind of stuff, right? But it didn't last as far as like the time we were hanging out together. So that was kind of like the first thing. The second thing which is funny because I didn't think about it at the time, but it was like afterwards, I was just thinking about this shit like a few days ago, man. I was like, you know what, man? She was probably expecting me to, as a matter of fact, I know she was, now that I think about, like, I'm thinking on it now, she was expecting me to go in for like a kiss, you know what I mean? Like to kiss her or something like that. You know what I mean? To kind of like, and it's funny because, this chick already, she already gave me head. So it's like, whatever, but my mind wasn't even there. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of like thinking at the time that, well, maybe we could just like reschedule some time together or whatever, which, we were trying to do that. But the reason why I feel like it was a fuck up is because I feel like if I reach out to her, you know what I'm saying? Like 90% sure she'll respond to me. You know what I mean? But to me, that's when it comes to a relationship, you want it to be like reciprocal. You know what I mean? So if a woman is interested in you, she's going to want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? She's going to want to hang out with you. You know what I mean? She's going to want to reciprocate and kind of reach out and stuff like that. Right. And I feel like over time, that is what kind of like started to fizzle out a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I remember when I first started talking to her, like I hit her up and, we had a good conversation over the phone and stuff like that. And then she would hit me up, and it'd be cool. But it's like more along the lines of now, it's like I said, if I do reach out to her, she'll answer. It's no problem. But the problem is that I'm chasing her. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, obviously as a dude, you chase women, but like I said, there has to be reciprocation. And I feel like when that was the last time that I had a chance to actually hang out with her, that could have been the situation where I was like, well, let me establish in her mind that I'm the motherfucker that she wants to fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Because I did this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So thinking about it now, I was like, I probably should have kissed her, man. You know what I mean? Or something like that. You know what I mean? Something. Because my mind wasn't there at the time, that I wasn't really thinking about that shit. But, in my opinion, I consider it to be a fuck up. You know what I mean? Because now the dynamic has changed. It's more like I said, I'm chasing her. I have to reach out to her. I have to try to find out when she's available. All this, you know what I'm saying? Instead of it being like, she's reaching out to me. I don't want to feel like I'm pulling teeth, when I'm trying to hang out with them.
That's how like shit is going wrong when you start feeling like you have to really pull teeth to get answers or questions, whatever the case may be. It's not the best thing to have. You know what I mean? In that case, it just doesn't feel good, and it's not good. See,
the thing is too, man, is that. Hello? Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yo, something sounds fucked up. Totally fucked up. It's probably on my end though. But the thing is that
what's wrong with it?
It's just making this kind of like staticky noise, man. I don't know what it is.
Start feeling like really pull teeth to get answers or questions, whatever the case may be. It's not the best thing.
Yeah.
To have.
Do you hear it in the video?
Feel good and
yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's not good. The thing is too, man, is that
that's just fucked up. But I was gonna say, man, the thing is that it's funny because if you keep trying to like chase women. You know what I mean? Like chase, like actively chase them. The thing is that it actually pushes them away. So currently, at the moment, I do want to hang out with this girl, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like I do kind of have like an urge to kind of like reach out to her again, but I'm not gonna do it because it's like it has to be reciprocal. You know what I mean? Like if she wants to hang out with me, you know what I'm saying? She'll reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? So, and if she doesn't, it is what it is. That's why I kind of feel like it was a fuck up because that could have been the opportunity just to kind of like solidify like her interest. You know. So, and you don't want to push them away, man. But sometimes it's hard, man. You kind of have to have self control when it comes to that type of shit, man. You know. But yeah, that was pretty much it, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I haven't really had like too many fuck ups, I would say, but I would definitely consider that one to be a fuck up. You know, um, I'm supposed to be hanging out with this chick. Probably, it's a different girl. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be hanging out with her probably like probably like another week because she went out of town, so she was on vacation with her family or whatever the case, and she's going to be back in maybe like another week or so. So I'm kind of looking forward to hanging out with her. But aside from that, man, as far as like a dating fuck up, then I would definitely say that was one for sure. Absolutely. We. You know what's funny though? I know Josh, you're probably working on this shit. I'll say this too, man. I kind of low key feel like reaching out to her again. You know what I mean? Um, and then sort of like not reply to her. You know what I mean? To try and see if I can bait her out to reply back to me to kind of like reverse the whole situation. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's stupid. But I'm not gonna do that shit, man. It's too much fucking. I'll just kind of leave it the way it is and just kind of keep it moving, man. It's just that I actually like this chick, though, man. That's kind of why I feel like it was a little fucked up because she's pretty cool, cool ass girl, man. Yo, that shit must be really fucked up. Oh man, I mean, we were kind of approaching the end of the show anyway, but it just kind of sucks that this shit had to fuck up like right now. Yo, how's it going over there, man? I'm not gonna lie, yo, Twitter be giving us some issues, man. Like Twitter is cool and all that, but damn, bro, it's like every 2 seconds, man. There's always some kind of fucking issue with this shit. I think. Wait, did it kick Josh out? Hold up. It says invite you. Hold on. Wait, do you want me to kick you out and then re-invite you?
I'm echoing.
All right. Can you hear me?
All right, sorry about that. Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, cool. You know, just a little technical setback, you know what I'm saying? Cool.
So basically, just to continue on what we were saying before, we mentioned our dating fuck ups. So, and I wanted to kind of say some things. This is what me and Ken was actually saying. Crypto Wolf is what you will see on the screen there. And thank goodness this shit is recording on YouTube because remember when we first started? Shit, we lost the whole podcast,
bro. Like the whole the second half of the thing was gone, dude. It was like, what the fuck? Yo, what's up, Fatal? He's in YouTube on YouTube. You know, just a little technical setback. You know what I'm saying?
So basically, just to continue. All right, so that's why I was all staticky because the shit was going to crash. It'd be fucking Twitter.
Yeah, see, that wasn't even us, man.
I mean, well, you got your internet. They was working on the internet, right?
I mean, yeah, but not yet. They're gonna be here probably like another week or so.
So they were able to test out what happened.
Yeah,
and then they didn't fix anything.
No, what they did was a guy came out and he actually tested the internet, the modem, and all that.
Yo, mute the Can you is Culture muted?
Yeah, on my end it is. Yeah, my whole computer's muted right now.
You sound weird.
Well, you sound weird.
You sound doubled.
Yeah,
but
that's how you were sounding.
It's not an echo
to me earlier.
It's like a computer love. But yeah, we were talking about dating fuck ups, and we mentioned our dating fuck ups. And to be clear, it's not we're not going out there crazily, anyway. We got a lot of shit that we wanted to do in life. So it's just not it's not a high priority. But one thing that we were talking about is holding women to a pedestal, you know what I mean? Which it basically pushes holding them on a pedestal. It basically pushes men to act a certain way in dating situations when it should be just it should be all smooth. It really should. Should be a nice conversation. And I get that everybody nowadays, they are what do you call it? They are socially awkward. Either guys play too many video games and don't really know what women are looking for, whatever the case is, or women are just so entrenched in social media that they don't know what they're looking for as well. And you get this issue where things are just not comfortable in the situation. And one of the things that I wanted to say is, if you do go into dating or before dating, you always have in your head that they are only human. Period. If somebody is going to drop you because you made a couple little mistakes, that's their loss. Like I've seen this on dating websites too, where they're like, oh, I can't believe he spelled them wrong. Like grammar. You've seen that shit too. Like grammar police and shit like that. Why are you? I had one chick was like, why are you abbreviating words? The fuck? That means you're lazy. That means you're looking at shit way too fucking deep.
Yeah,
man. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted when you go onto Tinder or whatever the case is, and they have like a laundry list of what they're looking for. You gotta be 6'5", and you have to have chiseled abs, but you still gotta be kind of thick a little bit. So when they lay on you, it's soft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get it fucked up.
You know, I was trying to mention something like that similar, when you got kicked out, about the whole situation that I was mentioning a few minutes ago. The thing is about the whole reciprocation thing, right? Is that um, at least in my case, because we're talking about like our dating fuck ups and stuff like that, right? Well, the thing is that as far as like this chick, right? I have this urge to like reach out to her. You know what I mean? Because I actually want to hang out with her. You know, um, but the thing is that the more that you try to like push the situation, the more you try to like continue to reach out and stuff, and it's just like a non-reciprocal like interaction. If it's a further away, you're just gonna push her away. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to take them off of the pedestal for a second. You know what I mean? To kind of push them away a little bit. And I was mentioning this before. It's like I guarantee. Well, I can't guarantee, but I'm like 85, 95, 90% sure that if I reach back out to this girl, she's gonna respond to me. But like I said, it has to be like a reciprocal thing. So,
Yeah, I was listening to what you were saying. I could hear it. I just couldn't talk.
Yeah, like continuously like trying to like chase after her when it's like a non-reciprocal thing. It's kind of like putting her on a pedestal. You know what I mean? So you're giving her too much attention. You're giving her way more attention than what she needs or wants or even deserves. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I decided to step back from it. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's like, you could like a chick, right? But you kind of have to learn how to step back, man. You have to learn how to take them off the pedestal, because if you don't, then you're inevitably going to push them away. You know what I mean? You kind of have to like, exercise like some self-control.
Women do not respect a guy that falls. How can I put it? That is weak for them. They just don't respect it. If you're doing everything that you possibly can and you're at their mercy, they're not going to respect it. That's historically true. You know what I'm saying? They look for something dominant, and if you're not dominant, then you ain't it. Is you see in trends where women are like, it's totally unattractive for a dude,
then you're inevitably going to push them away. You know what I mean?
Okay, just making sure. You see stuff on Twitter where women are like, yo, it's unattractive for a man to cry or show emotion or whatever the case is. And it's like, well, isn't that what y'all been saying like the whole fucking time? Like, you want, not to say that I'd be crying or anything like that, but you look at the shit and you're like, what the?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they say they want certain things because it sounds good. You know what I mean? But in actuality, they want a man. And the man doesn't fall prey to giving them what they want. Even if you give a child what they want, they will lose respect for you.
Yeah.
And it becomes very hard for them to control if you're just giving them what the fuck they want, because they know that they can throw a temper tantrum and they'll get what they want. Now, since they are adults and not children, what happens in those cases is that they will just dump you.
Not respond or anything like that.
Or you could fuck up the date altogether. The whole date could just crash,
Yeah.
It's highly unfortunate, but that's what ends up happening. The girl becomes completely disinterested in you because guess what? Like, you're not masculine enough. No matter how much they say, like, biologically, women are going to be women and men are going to be men. Doesn't matter what it is. We're chemically different.
Yeah.
So when a woman tries to be that boss chick, they can't sustain that for very long.
It's masculine.
They physically can't sustain it. Their bodies, and through, is not meant to deal with it. It's not meant for it. It's not meant for it. And that's what I kind of wanted to say. When you go out on a date, you got to keep telling yourself this shit over and over and over and over again, that she is only human. She's only human. And that she is. When you start putting them on a pedestal and getting too afraid, I'm gonna fuck up. There is no perfect solution. There is sometimes, but you ever had that feeling where like you knock something out of the park, you like, I know I got this shit, right? I know this shit is Gucci. And it goes wrong still. You ever had that?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think there was a situation not too long ago like that, man. Oh, you know what? As a matter of fact, remember that chick that I was telling you about, man? The one, actually, I talk about so many of them at this point, but there was this one chick, right? That she was a blonde girl and she was cute. Like she was pretty. And she worked at one of the restaurants that, like a lot of the other ones, right? She worked at one of the restaurants. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to approach this chick, man, because the last time I saw her, she kind of had like that little twinkle in her eye. Maybe there was something there, right? And in my mind, in my head, man, I was like, yeah, I'm about to knock this shit right out the park. You know what I mean? And when I walked up to her, remember it was that chick that I told you that I kind of fluffed the whole thing and it got awkward. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
And yeah. I walked up to this chick, man, and I, did the intro like I always do, like, hey, what's up, blah blah blah. I just wanted to talk to you, and then like my mind just went fucking blank. Just like I don't even know what happened. It was just
I'm not even talking about that portion. I'm talking about where you knock it out the park. You have everything that you possibly want to tell her, and you're able to execute it, and the bitch be like, nah, nigga, you corny as hell.
I don't know. Recently?
Not recently, just in general.
That's a good question.
It don't have to be like hardcore, like the bitch was like, oh, yeah, I can't stand you. It could just be like it just didn't work the way you wanted it to work, and it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what, man? Honestly, there was this one situation where I was hanging out with this one chick. This was back in like, I want to say 2016, 2017, maybe. There was this one chick, man, that I was hanging out with at the time, and she was cute. And I remember when we first met, it was cool. It was all Gucci, right? And we kind of hung out the first time, and I remember I kissed her that night, the first night that we hung out and stuff like that. And I remember she walked away, that she like left after I kissed her. I
remember you told me that.
Yeah, like she left after I had kissed her, and then she hit me up like later on, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, right?" That whole thing. So fast forward the story, things were kind of like going, pretty good, not too bad. You know what I mean? And then I remember one night, and this was before she went off to school. I told her I wanted to hang out with her, like that night. And she was like, oh, yeah. Cool. Right. And I went out to go hang out with her, and we kind of got into some stuff, right? Like a little bit, but not like too crazy. And then it was like, because in my mind, I was like, yo, I'm about to like, I'm about to smash this chick. You know what I mean? So, but I remember when we got back to the car, like after we kind of like, messed around a little bit elsewhere. I was like, hell yeah, I'm about to fuck the shit out of this chick, right? And then she's like, no. And I'm like, what? She was like, it was so random too, bro. Because like I said, we had already been like, hanging out and making out, bro. We fucking went. I remember with this girl, right? When I was on my shift, when I was still working at that job, I was on the shift, and I used to drive like these like shuttle cars, right? I literally had picked her up before she went, because she volunteered at that place at the hospital. It was at a hospital. and I was like a shuttle driver, and she had volunteered there, and I had picked her up because she, you have to park your car like away from the building. And before she went into the fucking building, like I drove like off somewhere and parked the fucking car, and we were just sitting there like making out in the car, bro. It was like, and I'm like grabbing all types of ass and you know what I'm saying, and it's just like we were doing that type of shit already, you know what I mean? And then when when the night came where I was like, yeah, I'm about to knock this shit out the park, she was like, yeah, no. And but she didn't do it like that, obviously. But she was just like, yeah, I don't know. I just, I don't really know you like that. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck you talking?
It's
You
so
know what I mean?
dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, and I was low key pissed off, man, a little bit, because I was like, bruh, I literally came out here to hang out with you, and I wasted all this fucking time. You know what I mean? Trying to like chill with you and stuff like that. And it went nowhere. Like this bitch literally blue balled me that night, bro. I was like, come on, my nigga. You know,
It sucks. And this is the epiphany, so to speak, as to what I had. I was like, you know what? When you're fucking around with this shit, man, it's not like when you're fucking around with shit like this, try not to make this shit complicated. It really doesn't need to be complicated like that at all. At all. Just understand that. It doesn't need to be.
I agree. I mean, I agree that it shouldn't be nearly as complicated. There is complexity to it, but it shouldn't be complicated the way it is. You know what I mean? It's not going to be simple, obviously, because there are complexities to how this shit works. But it shouldn't be that damn complicated, bro. Like, it shouldn't be complicated for, even like, because we talk about this shit all the time. Even just going up to a chick and talking to her. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's a very easy, you know what? I think we said what we wanted to say, and then that's it. But, we'll try to find something, actually, you know what? If you like the content, don't forget to follow the YouTube channel, which is PlayStation Culture. You should see like the same icon that's on here. And then obviously, what's this handle, Twitter handle?
Culture of PS.
Culture of PS. Follow those two things or subscribe to them. It'll be very, very helpful if you do. It's always good to kind of get other people, into this and just kind of, as we evolve this platform. That's what we're doing. It's evolving what we have. And things should always evolve. And that's what we're going to do.
Yo.
But we're going to get out of here. Ken, I need to kind of talk to you after this.